Hello, my dear. So happy to see you. Yes. Oh, what's that? Oh, a perfectly acceptable holiday over here. How about you? Ah, good. Well, you know, the tricky thing about the Christmas season is New Year's really kind of hides behind a bush and sneaks up on you. So what say we have a little fun and celebrate the idea of what's new? Because what's new is often wonderful and special, but every so often, what's new is dangerous. Oh, what's that? Well, have a seat. I'll burn off the last of the Yule log and we'll share ourselves a New Year's nightmare.
Mutual presents The Mysterious Traveler.
This is The Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back and get a good grip on your nerves, if you can. Where are we going? Well, let us say for the moment we're taking a little trip into time in a story I call New Year's Nightmare. As the old year entered its last minute, the crowds at the Club Tropicana were waiting expectantly for the clock to strike midnight. At a ringside table, a lovely young woman angrily whispers to the man with her.
Chris, if you take another drink, I'll leave.
Oh, Judy, this is New Year's Eve. It'll be 1947 in another minute. Gotta celebrate, don't I? Just one more.
Just one more. That's what you always say. I wouldn't mind if it were just tonight, but you're always getting drunk.
Waiter, another bottle of champagne.
Nothing I say means anything to you, does it? You think because I've forgiven you a dozen times in the past, I'll do it again. But you're wrong, Chris.
Happy New Year, darling. 1947 is going to be our year.
No, Chris, it isn't. I won't marry a man who gets drunk in New York and wakes up the next day in another city.
Oh, Judy, what are you saying? You don't mean that. You know I love you.
Yes, Chris, you love me. But not enough to give up drinking. I'll miss you, Chris. Miss you terribly. But I know I'm doing the right thing.
Judy, don't talk like that. I couldn't live without you. You know that. Won't you?
I'm sorry, Chris. Here's your ring. Will you please take me home?
You don't have to leave. If the sight of my drinking is too much for you, I'll go someplace else and do it. Martin will take you home. Happy New Year and goodbye.
Do you mind finishing that drink, mister? It's 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm dead on my feet.
Sure, I'll drink up. No matter what she says.
That's right. Now you better go home and sleep it off. Good night and a happy 1947 to you.
Thanks. And the same to you. Cold. Gotta find another bar. New Year's. Gotta celebrate. Another bar across the street. Oh, gotta celebrate. Hey, mister, look out for that car. You're gonna get run down if you don't. Look out! Oh, my head. Oh, it feels so funny. What's that noise? Those horns.
Why, darling, it's midnight, New Year's.
Oh, my head, it's throbbing so. Where am I? How did I get here?
Why, darling, you live here.
Live here? What are you talking about?
Charles, I'd better call Dr. Smith. You look so strange. Hello? Connect me with Dr. Smith's apartment, please.
Never seen this place before.
Hello, Doctor? This is Blanche Arnold. Yes, it's Charles. He isn't well. Could you come to our apartment at once? Oh, thank you. Goodbye.
What do you mean, I live here? Who are you? Where am I?
I'm your wife, Charles. This is our home, don't you remember?
You're my wife. You can't be. I'm not married. What am I doing here? What's your game?
Charles, can't you remember anything about us?
What are you talking about? I never saw you before. And why do you keep calling me Charles? My name is Chris. Chris Andrews.
Chris Andrews. So that's what the initial CA stood for.
Oh, that noise out there. What are they making such a racket for?
Because it's midnight, New Year's Eve.
Midnight? New Year's Eve? But it was midnight hours ago, when I left the Club Tropicana. What are you talking about?
Oh, that must be Dr. Smith. I'll answer it.
Dr. Smith? I don't know any Dr. Smith.
Oh, come in, Doctor. I'm so glad you're here. I think it's the amnesia. It seems to have left him all of a sudden. Charles? It's Dr. Smith.
I don't know him, and I don't know you. And please stop calling me Charles. I told you my name is Chris Andrews.
Mm-hmm. Won't you sit down, Mr. Andrews? I'd like to talk with you for a few minutes.
What about?
Tell me, Mr. Andrews, what's the last thing you remember before finding yourself in this apartment?
Why, Judy. She and I were at the Club Tropicana, celebrating New Year's Eve.
I see.
I remember we quarreled about my drinking. I walked out on her and had a few drinks someplace else.
Uh-huh.
That's all I can recall. Oh, my head. I've had hangovers, but I've never felt like this before. What time is it?
It's just 4 minutes after 12.
But it can't be 4 minutes after 12 New Year's Eve. That was hours ago when I left the Tropicana.
Mr. Andrews, that was New Year's Eve, 1947.
What do you mean, that was New Year's Eve, 1947?
This is New Year's Eve, 1948.
1948? What are you talking about? It's 1947.
Well, here's the morning paper. You can see the date for yourself.
Thursday, January 1st, 1948. No, it can't be. It can't be. A year gone? Just like that? But where did it go? I haven't lived it yet.
Perhaps you'd better let me clear up a few things for you.
1948.
My name is Smith. I was a resident physician until recently at the Park Hospital. While I was on duty last New Year's Day, 1947, you were brought into the hospital seriously injured, having been run over by a car. When you recovered consciousness 5 days later, you didn't know who you were. You were a victim of amnesia.
Amnesia?
Yes, and we didn't know who you were as you had no identification papers.
But my wallet, letters...
They were gone. The only clue to your identity was a belt buckle with the initials CA on it.
We didn't know your real name, so I called you Charles for the C.
Blanche was your nurse.
I've always liked the name Charles. And as for your last name, we thought Arnold was as good as any, so you became Charles Arnold.
But what have I been doing since the day I recovered consciousness?
Well, you weren't discharged from the hospital until May. Then you went to work as an insurance clerk.
As an insurance clerk? But I don't know anything about being a clerk. I'm a reporter.
Well, there was no way of learning what your occupation had been. So when Blanche learned of this opening in an insurance office, you applied for the position.
And that's where I've been working? Up to now?
Yes.
And then after you got your job, we were married.
Married?
Charles, Chris. Don't you remember?
I'm afraid, Blanche, you really can't.
Married. Judy. Oh, it's like a dream. My head keeps throbbing. I keep expecting to wake up. There's that date in the paper. January 1st, 1948.
Doctor, you said he might never get over his amnesia.
Well, that was a strong possibility, but apparently the sounds of New Year's brought back his memory.
Year gone just like that. Judy. My friends. Job. All gone. Doctor, where am I? I mean, what's the address of this apartment house?
You're at 5718 North 13th Street, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? But how did I get to Philadelphia?
That we don't know. All that I can tell you is that your accident occurred just a few blocks from here.
Darling, I know what a shock it must be.
Strange. You must have called me darling many times in the past. And yet this is the first time I've ever heard you call me that.
Yes, I know.
What did you say your name was?
Oh, hello, Doctor. Come in, won't you?
Thank you. How are you, Blanche?
All right, I suppose.
How's Chris getting along?
He's fine. It's just...
Why, Blanche, what's this? I've never seen you cry. Here.
No, it's just that everything's so changed. Those 6 months Chris and I were married before he regained his memory were the happiest of my life.
And now?
This past month since he got his memory back, it's been as though I were married to a stranger. It isn't as though he doesn't try to be nice to me, but it's also obvious he doesn't love me.
Now, Blanche, you mustn't say that.
It's true, I tell you. How can a man love a woman those first 6 months as he loved me and then fall out of love with her when he's regained his memory?
You must have patience, Blanche. It will take time for Chris to adjust himself to what's happened. He fell in love with you as Charles Arnold, and I'm sure he will as Chris Andrews. You just must give him time.
Chris Andrews. Chris, it is you.
Judy. Oh, Judy. Oh, just let me look at you. Oh, this can't be true. You're being here.
Well, it is. It's been a long time.
Yes. Year and a month since New Year's Eve, 1947.
Chris, what are you doing here in Philadelphia?
I live here.
Well, so do I. I got a job with Ryan and Company as a copywriter here a few months ago.
Look, Judy, we can't talk here on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's right. Well, look, I live only a few blocks from here. We can go to my apartment.
Oh, that's fine. There's so much I want to ask, and there's so much to tell.
Here, let me have your hat and coat.
Thank you.
Would you like something to drink?
No, I don't drink anymore.
Oh? Chris, you have changed. You look so much older.
Well, you don't. You're as lovely as that night I saw you last.
Thank you, Chris.
Judy, you'll have to let me explain what happened after I left you that night at the Tropicana. If you find it difficult to believe, I won't blame you. It still seems like a nightmare to me. That night, after I left you... And so now you know everything. From the moment I last saw you to this one.
Oh, no wonder you look different after having gone through an experience like that. Well, you're all right now. You know who you are. You're happily married. You have a job.
I'm not happily married, Judy.
Chris, you mustn't talk like that. Surely you must have loved your wife if you married her, and she hasn't changed.
Judy, there's never been anyone for me but you. You know that. And you still feel that way about me.
No, I don't.
When we met tonight, that old look was still in your eyes. You do care. You know you do.
Please, Chris, no matter how I feel about you, it's over now. You're married, and that's all there is to it. I wish you'd go, and I don't want to see you again. you home from work hours ago?
I met a friend.
Oh. Oh, you look so tired. Do you feel well?
Blanche, this past month I tried my best to be a good husband, haven't I?
Well, you have been, darling.
No, there's something missing, and you know it. Oh, it isn't your fault, it's mine. And as a result, we're both unhappy.
You mustn't say that, Chris. I feel that in time, things will be as they were when we were first married. When you were Charles Arnold.
No, but they won't be, Blanche. It's no use, I tell you.
Chris, who is the friend you met tonight?
The girl I was once engaged to.
I see.
Blanche, you've got to give me a divorce.
No, Chris. I'll never do that.
But why? You know I don't love you. What's the sense in going on like this?
Chris, when you were Charles Arnold, you did love me, and we were happy together. I had your love once, and I mean to win it back. I won't give you a divorce.
Hello, Judy.
Chris, I asked you not to call on me again.
Judy, I've got to talk to you. May I come in?
Well, all right. But just for a few minutes.
Thank you. Judy, even if we hadn't met again a week ago, things wouldn't have been any different between my wife and myself. I'll never love her. And I'm not going on with her.
What do you mean, Chris?
I'm going to leave her, Judy, and start all over, someplace far away. I just came around to say goodbye.
Are you set on leaving her?
Yes. Nothing can change my mind about that.
Now, you've got to understand my position, Chris. I could never be happy with you if I thought I'd been the one who came between you and your wife. But if you are going to leave her, I would like to see you again when you're free.
Would you, Judy?
Yes. But I don't want to see you until she's given you a divorce.
Divorce? Judy, I am going to be free. Nothing's going to prevent it. Nothing. Blanche, how would you like to go out tonight?
Go out?
Yeah, we might take in a show or go dancing. Didn't I ever take you out when I was Charles Arnold?
Oh, why, yes. We used to have wonderful evenings together then.
Well, why not now? Unless you don't want to.
Oh, Chris, there's nothing in the world I'd rather do.
Hey, why the tears?
Oh, it's just that I'm so happy.
Oh, come here. Did this Mr. Arnold ever put his arms around you? Like this?
Oh, yes, often. Oh, Chris, stop squeezing me so tight. Chris!
Sorry, darling.
Oh, you almost squeezed me to death.
That's so you'll remember that I'm your husband and not Mr. Arnold. And Blanche.
Oh, yes, Chris.
I'm taking a week's vacation soon. What do you say if we go up to the Adirondack Mountains for a week of winter sports?
Oh, Chris, I'd love to. Wait, it'll be like a second honeymoon.
Blanche, you all right? There's only a few more feet to the top.
I'm coming, darling. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh, Chris. Oh, the view is wonderful from here, isn't it?
You're right. Being up here is like being alone in the world.
Yes, just the two of us. Oh, this past week's been a wonderful one, Chris. I've never been so happy.
Nor have I.
Oh, be careful, Chris. Don't go so near the edge. That canyon's 4,000 feet deep.
Oh, this ledge is perfectly safe. Come over here and take a look at the valley below.
All right. Oh, please keep your arms around me, Chris. Looking down like this frightens me.
There. You're safe in my arms.
Chris, why are you looking at me that way?
What way, dear?
I don't know. Is your head throbbing again?
No, dear. I don't suppose you've changed your mind about giving me a divorce, have you?
Giving you a divorce? But I thought we were so happy together.
Yes, that's the impression I meant people to get.
Chris, you can't be serious. Why, everything's been wonderful these past few weeks.
Oh, I see it won't be any use trying to talk you into it.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, Blanche. I don't want to do this, but you've given me no alternative. It's really your own fault, that you must die.
Let go of me.
No use struggling, darling. No one can see or hear you, and you can't possibly escape.
You can't throw me off that ledge, then I'll hang you.
I don't think so, dear. We've been so happy these past few weeks. I'm sure the police will see it as an unfortunate accident.
Stop pushing me towards the edge. Chris, don't. I'll give you a divorce. I'll give you anything.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
Chris.
Good evening, Judy. May I come in?
Why, yes, of course. How are you, Chris?
Oh, I'm all right. I want to thank you for the note you sent me when Blanche died.
I can't tell you how sorry I was to hear about it, Chris.
Yes, it all happened so quickly.
What have you been doing since then?
Oh, just working. Trying to straighten myself out.
Yes.
Judy, perhaps I shouldn't talk about it now, seeing that Blanche has only been gone a month, but I've been thinking of leaving town. Will you come with me?
Please sit down, Chris. You make me nervous walking back and forth like that.
All right. But you haven't answered my question.
Well, it isn't easy to answer.
It would be if you said yes. I see in your eyes you mean no. Why?
Chris, I've met someone else recently.
Someone else? But you said if I were free, you'd marry me.
I didn't say I'd marry you. I said if you were free, I'd like to see you again. But now I'm not even sure of that. You're so different from what you used to be.
Stop being clever. If you didn't say you'd marry me, you implied as much.
Please, Chris, you're making it so difficult for me.
I'm making it difficult for you. And I suppose what I've been through doesn't count. I risked my life to get you.
Risked your life? Chris, what are you saying?
Are you such a fool as to believe that Blanche fell off that mountain?
Chris, you didn't.
Yes. And I did because you said you'd marry me if I were free.
Oh, no, I meant a divorce.
But she wouldn't give me a divorce. It was the only way I could gain my freedom. And now you tell me there's someone else.
Oh, Chris.
I did it for you. And you're going to marry me.
No, I won't.
If I can't have you, no one else will.
Chris, what's the matter with you? Chris!
We were meant for each other, darling. In life and in death.
Chris, if you come any closer, I'll scream for help. No, don't. Chris, no!
You won't marry me. You'll never marry anyone else. There. He'll never have you.
Open up in there.
Miss Winters, are you all right? Call the police.
Oh, I didn't want to do it, darling. But you forced me to. Oh, my head, it throbs so. Everything's like a nightmare.
Open up in there. This is the police.
The police? I've got to get away. Oh, they're closing in on me. There's no escape from this roof.
Let's work our way down from this end of the roof to the other.
They'll never take me alive. Never. I've got 5 bullets. 4 for them and the last for myself.
Take it easy now, Joe. You may be hiding behind one of those chimneys.
Oh, my head. It keeps throbbing so. If I could only think. All this can't be real. It's like a horrible dream. They're coming for me.
Wait. There's someone behind that chimney over there. Get under cover.
They'll never take me alive. Never. I'll show them.
Keep down, Mike.
Why don't you come and get me? Afraid to shoot it out with me, huh? I'll show you.
Come on, Mike. His gun is empty.
Oh, empty. You'll never take me alive. Never!
He's climbing up on the ledge. It's 15 stories down.
I'm coming, Judy. I'm coming.
He's going to jump.
I'm falling. Falling. You'll never take me. Never. I'm falling. Falling.
Doctor, the patient's recovering consciousness.
Yes, you're right. He's opening his eyes.
Oh, my head. It throbs so. Where am I? Oh, it was a dream. It's not real. Oh, thank heaven.
Now, you must be quiet. You've been in a serious accident.
Accident?
Yes. You were hit by an automobile New Year's morning. Would you mind telling me your name? There weren't any identification papers in your clothing, and we'd like to inform your relatives of what's happened.
My name? It's... I can't remember my name.
I see. Well, what about your address? Can you remember that?
No. No, I can't remember anything.
Now, you mustn't get excited. It'll all come back to you. You received a fractured skull from the accident.
There was a mountain.
Mountain? You mean you live near one?
I don't know. There was a mountain, and the police were chasing me. And I jumped off a high building. It's all mixed up.
You probably dreamed that while you were unconscious. But you're all right now. Just need rest and quiet.
Where am I?
You're in the Park Hospital, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? What day is it?
It's January 5th, 1947. It's 7:26 in the evening.
And you don't know my name?
No, all we have is your belt buckle with the initials CA.
C.A.
Nurse, will you look after the patient now? I'll be in to see him later tonight.
Yes, Doctor. Are you comfortable?
The initials C.A. What do you suppose they stand for?
Perhaps the C is for Charles?
Charles? Charles? I don't know.
Well, suppose I call you Charles, just for the time being. I always liked the name Charles.
All right. What's your name?
I'm Miss Thompson, but you can call me Blanche. And Charles, let me be the first to wish you a happy 1947.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Have you enjoyed our little trip? Oh, by the way, I want to wish you all a very happy New Year. And I do hope you'll be careful about making new acquaintances. And perhaps you'd better keep an eye on the old ones, too. For after all, who can foretell the future? Not even Chris Andrews, or should I say Charles Arnold, knows what's in store for him. But we do, don't we? And speaking of the future, Oh, you're getting off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You've just heard The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. In tonight's cast were Maurice Tarplin, Stuart Brody, Louise Fitch, Hester Sondergaard, and Mort Lawrence. Original music was played by Doc Whipple. The Mysterious Traveler is written and directed by Bob Arthur and David Kogan.
Well, my dear, that was certainly something to chew on. What's that? Oh, no. I mean, I suppose that is to be seen, but I wouldn't worry about it whatsoever. I have to say thank you again. A whole year of your friendship has meant an awful lot to me. I appreciate how you stay up late with me in my humble abode of sorts. And who knows what the next year will hold. I certainly hope our friendship can flourish, but I can't guarantee anything, that's for sure, other than death and taxes. But I wonder what a strange new tomorrow may be like.
Mystery Theater, the Mutual Radio Theater, and our next news tonight at 12 midnight.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Have you ever played the game of wondering where and when, if you had the choice, you would have picked to spend your life? Most of us probably might settle for today and where we are. The more romantic among us might opt for some favorite era we view through rose-colored glasses. The Greek or Roman Empire, the Renaissance, Shakespeare's England. But the adventurers would turn their eyes to the future, the unimagined and the unimaginable. What might some distant tomorrow be like?
You mean wipe out any inhabitants that are there, General Varden?
Exactly, Dr. Tremaine.
With the robots I build for you? Suppose I refuse?
That's a lovely wife you have, Doctor. A little young for you, but then so exquisitely desirable all the more. It would be a pity for anything to happen to her.
Our mystery drama, Strange New Tomorrow, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars John Beale and Terry Keane. It is sponsored in part by Sunkissed Growers Incorporated. I'll be back shortly with Act One. We're about to bring you a time that none of us will ever know, or our children, or our children's children, or generations of them to come. This is a time long after the Second 100 Years' War, when the world went mad and burned the green and fruitful earth to barren cinders, when the population was reduced by 2/3, leaving the survivors to a virtual handful. This is a time of an absolute autocracy, a state in which every individual is born by selective breeding and condemned by the state to function only in the area prescribed for him or her. This could be what the future will be like.
Ralph?
Yes, Una, dear?
It's time for your medicine.
Oh, you don't have to act like a wife when we're alone. It can wait.
I want you to take it. You need it.
I may need it, but it won't help. In a minute.
What are you looking at?
The return of the conquering hero. Leader of our regiment's defender of the faith, General Mark Varden. Homeward the heroes from the hunt. Pirates and freebooters all. With their living plunder. With not one grain of moral sense. And not the compassion of one heart among them.
Have they been on another...
Let me close the windows. I don't even want the wind from their exhaust to touch me. You were saying, my dear?
I was just asking if they'd been on another galactic raid.
Beyond doubt. More and more frequently. Varden and that evil young man who's elevated himself to emperor are getting desperate, as well they should. Emperor Condor is sitting on an uneasy throne.
You think he might be overthrown?
Oh, not from within. As long as he has his robot army to protect him. And as long as fresh blood is brought in to keep them from extinction, the people will still cling to hope. Although there isn't any.
Hope for what?
Oh, it's a long story, my child. A long history. And I don't feel like telling it tonight.
Of course, you mustn't. You look tired and you... Oh, Ralph, you look so ill.
I'm suffering from a chronic complaint. old age. Dr. Ralph Tremaine, Professor of Cybernetics, Emeritus.
But you are not retired.
No, not quite yet. There are things I have to finish. You hear that?
What, Ralph?
The silence. The ship has landed. Now they'll feed the poor souls, whoever they are, to the lions.
Your Majesty,
Greetings, General Barton. You're returned, I see.
bringing with me another glorious victory to lay at Your Majesty's feet.
Oh, spare me all that nonsense. Were you successful in your task?
You can see for yourself if you'll allow me to tune in the viewing screen.
Very well. You were gone an unconscionable time.
These missions get more and more difficult.
Why?
Let me show you the fruits of this one first. There. It's coming into focus now. There's the latest catch.
Mm-hmm. And where are they from?
Rubos, a planet in the 9th galaxy.
You had to go so far afield?
As I said, it becomes more difficult all the time. Galaxy after galaxy is patrolled by police craft seeking us out. Only the black light envelope has kept our identity secret this long. Even then, I must slip through time warp after time warp to avoid discovery and recognition.
What do they expect? We must raid them to keep our race alive, to maintain enough population to keep the whole fabric of existence viable.
You know my answer to that, Majesty.
No, General, no. I don't want to listen to that now. Perhaps these bodies milling about down in the square there will be the answer at last. Yes, tell me more about the planet.
Rubos? It's a large planet, about the size of Jupiter in our solar system. Its distance in relation to size is approximately the same as our planets from our sun. The climate and the animal life is also analogous.
Well, they look healthy enough and similar enough. Intelligence?
Their average IQ is a good deal higher than ours.
What?
And their scientific capabilities considerably more advanced. We were lucky to make our raid and escape unnoticed. We were almost intercepted. Their communications must be magnificent. We were in a very remote part of what is a very large planet, and yet they were almost on us as we took off.
Well, were you recognized?
I hope not, unless they have instruments to pierce the black light curtain. But I think we got away.
Excellent, excellent. Then I won't scold you for the handful that you've brought me. They seem to be first-rate specimens. Next time I'll...
Emperor Condor.
Yes, General Varden?
There will be no next time.
What?
No more raids. They are too dangerous.
But you know we must have a constant supply of people, of healthy bodies, so we can weed out the poison that eats at most of us and destroys us.
We will never weed it out.
But it can be bred out. Once we find the right strain...
Emperor Condor, listen to me. You think the radiation is carried inside us, bred in our genes. I don't believe it is. I think every generation reinfects itself from the earth of this planet, the seas that wash it, the space around it.
No, that can't be, General Varden. It's countless generations since the Holocaust.
And it will be countless eternities before this planet is safe again for anything but robots.
Don't mention those abominations to me.
Why do you hate them so? They are the perfect slave. Without them, you would have no army, no palace guards, and internal police to hold the common people in check.
In check from what?
From ripping you and me and the rest of the ministers apart. No, there is only one hope.
That is?
We must abandon Earth and resettle elsewhere.
Don't you think that hasn't been thought of eons and eons ago? But we are welcome nowhere, the pariahs of the universe.
We do not ask. We will take.
With what? I can't find enough healthy bodies to run basic services, let alone conscript an army.
We do not need an army, except mine.
Back to those obscene robots again. There aren't enough of them.
They can be built, if you will allow me to reopen the planet.
No.
What are you afraid of? That somehow they'll take over?
I don't know. Yes, I am.
Don't worry. They're nothing but a series of relays, transistors, printed circuits. They are programmed by men.
I still don't trust them.
Give me leave, Your Majesty, to go to Dr. Tremaine and have him start on blueprints for a new and improved model robot built only for war.
No, not yet. Give me time to think. First, let me find among these slaves you've brought back one woman who may give me an untainted child.
Yes?
Quickly, I must not be seen. Close the door.
Who are you?
I am General Mark Varden. Close it.
Forgive me, General.
Who are you?
I am Una.
You are a very beautiful woman, Una.
Am I?
Yes. Where did you come from? How...
General Varden. To what do we owe the honor of your visit to me? Oh, I see you've met my wife.
Your wife?
Oh, yes, of course. I'd forgotten. The wedding took place while you were on your cruise.
My mission, Dr. Tremaine.
Ah, yes. Mission. Did you have success?
I flatter myself I did. I have urgent business with you, Doctor.
Shall we go to my study?
For what I wish to talk with you about, your laboratory would be more appropriate. I know my way.
Ralph, what is it?
The last place I wanted him to be. Oh, well, with a little luck, we may be all right.
Close the door, Dr. Tremaine.
Very well. And I'll turn off all this apparatus.
No. I prefer to take no chance that what I have to say might be overheard.
Well, at least let me lower the volume.
Fascinating. What are you brewing here, Doctor? What are these machines?
Computers, oscillators, electronic microscopes, calculators. All the impedimenta of anyone who studies cybernetics. The scientist studies only to learn how little he really knows.
But you know how to build robots.
Yes, but we're not building anymore.
I want you to be ready. I want you to start building me a prototype designed only for war.
Does the Emperor know of this?
It is better the Emperor doesn't know of everything.
Oh, I'd have to have his permission first before I embarked on this. I wouldn't want to risk offending him.
You will be far worse off offending me, Doctor.
General, I am an old man. I haven't long to live, so threats are of little use against me.
I wouldn't be quite so sure, my dear Dr. Tremaine. I'm going to take over another planet in some other galaxy. A clean planet, untouched by deadly radiation like ours.
Take over? You mean wipe out any inhabitants that are there?
Exactly.
With the robots I build for you?
That's it. You are going to build me the army to fight it.
And if I refuse?
That is a lovely wife you have, Dr. Tremaine.
No.
A little young for you. It would be a pity for anything to happen to her.
You wouldn't dare.
Do not try me. One whisper to the Emperor of my plans, any attempt from you to hinder them, any refusal to do my will to the best of your ability, and I will have your wife destroyed and buried in a forgotten grave. Well, Dr. Tremaine, are we partners or not?
The General's eyes are chips of granite, and Dr. Tremaine knows this man only too well to doubt that he means every word he says. Mark Varden may be human, but he is as soulless as any robot. What choice can the old man make? I shall return shortly with Act 2. Perched on the edge of a table in Dr. Tremaine's laboratory, as he awaits the old man's answer, General Mark Varden lets his hawk eyes roam idly about the room. It is the ordered clutter of a busy scientist who is half chemist, half electronics wizard. His eye has just fallen on a large black box, almost like a coffin, when the old man speaks.
You're right, General Varden. I have no choice.
I was sure you would see it my way, Doctor. Such a ravishingly beautiful woman. Where did you find her?
She was one of the group you brought back from Cygnus 3 on your last mission.
I overlooked her all the long journey home.
I'm afraid you did. And I asked the Emperor for her hand the moment I found her.
The Emperor gave her to you?
I'm unmarried, a widower. I had the right to ask, to demand.
I'm surprised he acceded the way he feels about your robots.
Don't be too surprised, no matter what he says. Only I can build them and program them, now that all the others are gone. He needs his palace guard to shield him from you. So, he needs me.
Nobody else is clever enough to build or service them?
That will be taken care of very soon. In the meantime, don't push me too far.
My dear Doctor, I have no intention of subjecting you to any pressure now that we are agreed. I ask only the reassurance of being able to drop in from time to time to get progress reports.
When I have some working drawings ready, I'll send for you.
But carefully, till I have sold His Majesty on the necessity of my plan.
I have an assistant in the lab, a young man named Mac. No one knows him at court. I'll send him.
Mac what?
Just Mac. That's all you need to know.
I'll leave standing orders for him to be admitted. Now I must leave you. Oh, by the way.
Yes, General?
You say you never stopped studying. Just what have you been working on while I've been gone?
I don't think it would interest you very much.
On the contrary. You're quite sure you haven't been developing some sort of special robot for His Majesty that just might upset the balance of power?
What would make you think that?
This curious box, big enough to hold someone my size, that looks like a coffin. The lid. It's locked.
Naturally.
What's inside this curious box?
That box is lined with lead. Inside it are a group of highly radioactive rocks, which I use in certain biological experiments that I've been conducting to try to neutralize their effect on the body.
Then I shall give it a wide berth. I wouldn't want to try their effect on mine. If I can believe you.
Well, I'll give you the key, and you may open it. But only after I'm out of this room and out of this house. Well, come in.
I'm sorry to disturb you, Ralph, but it's time for your medicine.
General.
That's quite all right, Mrs. Tremaine. I was just about to leave. Yes, the Emperor made you an extraordinary present. She's ravishingly lovely. Keep her that way, Doctor, at all costs. No, don't worry. I can see myself out.
Is he really gone?
What a dreadful, frightening man.
He's all of that and more. I just had my medicine. I don't need any more.
It was an excuse to come in. I knew you needed me.
How?
I don't know, except I always do. It's like a wave, a shudder, the pulse of some electric alarm. What did that awful man mean about the Emperor giving me to you?
No, I don't want you to worry your pretty head.
But I do worry. What do you think it's like not knowing anything about yourself or your family, where you came from or who your friends might have been? Just waking up suddenly at the age of 25 and just being.
Well, you just have no memories.
But why?
That's a sort of amnesia.
Did I fall? Hit my head?
No, you... Look, I'll tell you what I just told the general. You know this shipload of unfortunate people he just brought back?
That he captured as slaves?
What he has condemned them to is tantamount to slavery. And worse.
But why? Why did he steal people away from their homes?
Because sooner or later, everyone on this planet dies of a form of sickness caused by nuclear radiation. The Emperor believes it is transmitted through the genes, and that by selective breeding to healthy stock, it can eventually be neutralized.
Can it?
No. Even if it were possible, this whole globe is one mass of radioactivity that would reinfect everyone again.
Has it infected me?
No. And it never will. I promise you that.
But the others, all those poor women I saw on the viewing screen.
They'll be sold to any male who's not yet given any signs of having the sickness.
What a terrible, cruel man to try to drag the rest of the universe down because of our misfortune.
And it's all so futile. The Emperor won't believe it, but the cancer is already growing within him. If he had laid eyes on you, he undoubtedly would have chosen you as one of his consorts.
Well, how did I escape? Oh. Is that what you told the general, that you took me instead?
That's what I told him.
But I have been no real wife to you.
My dear, sweet girl. The marriage was only so I could hide you away and keep you safe. I think of you as a daughter. I had only one wife, and she died a long time ago.
Of the sickness?
Yes. And you know something? You were created in her image. You look exactly like her.
Oh, Ralph, I do love you. And I feel so close to you. And I want you to know how strong my love is.
That's all I want to hear. Give me all of it you want, but as a daughter. The child I never had.
Because you were afraid that...
Because if I couldn't give life, I refuse to bring anything into this world. You will be meeting someone soon. He'll be working with me, and it will be impossible to conceal his presence from you. He's someone very special, and I want you to understand about him.
Is it a coffin?
Oh, no. It's more like a cradle.
I'm afraid suddenly.
There's nothing to be afraid of. You'll see.
It's a young man. And he's beautiful.
Well, I hope not. Handsome is a better word.
Perhaps. But is he dead?
Oh, no. This young man can't die in the ordinary sense. He is, in a way, immortal.
I don't understand you.
Well, this young man isn't a human being. He's a humanoid.
A humanoid?
Yes, a simulacrum. Something that's formed in the likeness of a human being.
Oh, you mean like a mannequin or a dummy?
Very far from that. I mean, he is identical in almost every respect with a human. And he will perform, act, simulate almost every human control function. Only in Mac's case, the motive forces are mechanical and electronic.
Mac?
That's what I call him. It's a sort of an acronym for what he is. Mechanoelectric activated computer.
You built him, made him, created him?
Yes.
Oh, how horrible.
Oh, I was hoping that you wouldn't react like that. It's the last way I wanted you to feel.
But he's nothing but a machine.
A lot more than that.
How can he be? It's just a super robot, a thing.
I don't think you'll feel that way about him when you meet him.
I don't want to meet him.
What are you afraid of, Una?
I don't know. When I first saw him, I thought how beautiful he is. And my heart went out to him to be dead so young. And then you said that he wasn't, that he was immortal. And the strangest feeling just washed all over me and grew inside, all warm and tingling, and I couldn't understand it, but I wanted it to last forever. Now you tell me he's only a machine. I don't know, it's unclean. Somehow I want to cringe.
Then you've got to meet him to get rid of that feeling.
All right. But only for you, Ralph.
Let me just set the instruments first. Just attach these electrodes. And step up the power. Watch, Una. Wake up, Mac. Time to get to work.
Oh, Doctor, did I fall asleep again?
Not exactly. And cheer up, you won't anymore. Except when you decide to. Oh, Mac, I want you to meet my wife.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Tremaine.
How do you do?
Just great. I mean, you're really something to wake up to.
I told you he'd surprise you.
I'm not surprised. I'm frightened.
Of me? Well, why?
I don't know. I just don't want to... I'm afraid to be near you. I don't want to be near you.
Did I do something wrong, Doctor?
No, I'm the one. I just hope there'll be time enough left to set it right.
What does Dr. Tremaine mean by that last statement? And why should Mrs. Tremaine have this strange fear of this all-too-human humanoid? Or is Mac, the mechano-electric computer, something other than he or it seems? You're in for some surprising revelations in this bizarre history of the far-off future when I return shortly with Act 3. Three weeks have passed. In the course of them, for whatever reasons of his own, Dr. Tremaine has tried to bring Una and his protege, Mac, together as much as possible. But Una still reacts to Mac with that strange, inexplicable fear. And the humanoid, although he obviously holds her in admiring awe, seems happy to have as few encounters with her as possible. But a rush of events are moving to a startling climax. A climax that builds rapidly as Mac visits General Varden at the palace, bearing a message from Dr. Tremaine.
What does he mean he won't design the robots I ordered?
I think he explained that in the message, General.
You mean this nonsense about not being able to build machines of war?
Well, if I remember, what he said was he can't. A can't in all conscience, I think was the phrase.
I don't like your attitude.
I have no attitude, sir. I was only trying to set the record straight.
I find you insubordinate. What's your name?
Mac, General.
Mac who?
Just Mac, that's all.
Are you trying to make a fool of me?
Oh, no, sir.
Varden. General Varden, turn up your viewing screen so I know you're there.
Yes, Your Majesty.
That's better. I want to see you in my office immediately.
What's wrong, Emperor?
Wrong? Everything, you fool. I've just received a message from President Zorak of the Republic of Rubas. Your ship was identified on that last raid, and now he's on his way to our planet to blow us out of the sky.
Does he say when?
No.
Then with luck, I still can intercept him. I'll be right in, Your Majesty. You, did you hear that?
Yes, I did, General.
Then take this message back to Dr. Tremaine. You tell him to get his blueprints ready for my factory to go into production. I need an army of robots, and they only have to do one thing, fight. And you tell him also that he'd better conform, or his wife will be the one to pay the price.
Oh, Mrs. Tremaine.
Oh.
I'm sorry if I startled you.
Don't come near me.
Why do you dislike me so? Look, I've got to see Dr. Tremaine first, but I would like...
He's resting. I don't want him disturbed.
Well, it's important. I have a message from the general.
It can wait.
Oh, but you don't understand. You're the one in danger. The general threatened...
You don't have to worry about the general's threats. My husband got a promise for protection from the Emperor before he told him about General Varden's planning to build the robots in secret. My husband and I have nothing to fear from him. He should be under arrest by now. Does that satisfy you?
Well, yes, No.
What else do you want?
I'd like us to be friends.
So would I. But I don't think that's possible. Why don't you leave me alone? Just leave me alone.
But, Mrs. Tremaine,
Una! It's all right, son. Mac, I should say. Don't bother her now. Come in the laboratory. I need to talk to you. Explain some things.
General, there will be no necessity to fight.
What do you mean?
I contacted President Zorak and made, shall we say, an arrangement.
Am I to be informed of it?
Yes, I've offered to return to him all his people who were abducted.
And that satisfied him?
Oh, I've also offered him you, as the criminal responsible for the brutal pirate raid, to do with as he likes.
And you trust him? Without me, there's no one to fight him. And after he took off with me as prisoner, he'd still devastate this planet till there was not a living, breathing human being on it.
Oh, he intends to do that, of course. They're all dying anyway.
They? What about you? You'll die with them.
Certainly not. He has promised me safe conduct to his country and the right to take my personal fortune with me.
So, you sold me out.
Gladly, just as you were planning to do to me as soon as you were ready with your new army of robots. Seize them, guards. I said seize them.
You really are a fool, Your Majesty. Just because these metal bodies are painted with the royal purple on their breasts, emblazoned with your coat of arms, you think that makes them yours? Seize him, my captains.
Oh, let me go. I am the Emperor.
We're the Emperor. Not anymore.
If you think you can take my throne from me...
I don't want your throne. Or you. From now on, the whole universe will be mine.
You won't get away with it. When President Zorak lands and frees me, he'll follow you with his fleet of ships.
He won't know where to find me. There'll be no one to tell him where I went. The king is dead. Long live the general.
The reason you felt no fear of Varden, Mac, is because I didn't program you for fear.
Well, you mean, Dr. Tremaine, that every reaction I have you built into me?
Yes. I picked a human model for you and tried to shape you as close to that model as I could, with certain exceptions.
Who was the model, sir?
Myself.
You, sir? Well, very proud, but why would you want to go to all that trouble to duplicate yourself?
Well, maybe because I had no other model I knew so well. And maybe because I'm dying and every man reaches for immortality. That's a part of it, but not all of it. Not the real reason. And I made such a botch of it.
I'm sorry if I don't measure up, sir. I'm the one to blame. I've got to ask you to help me, Doctor. I can't stand it any longer.
Oh, I'll help you in any way that I can.
Then unmake me, sir. Destroy me. Dismantle me.
Why?
Because I love her and she can't stand the sight of me. She loathes me. And I don't want to go on being knowing that. Why, Doctor? Why does she hate me so?
She doesn't hate you, Mac. Quite the opposite.
It's better if I don't believe that. There never was any hope for me because she's real and I'm only a copy. She's a human being, and I'm not much better than a robot.
You are a humanoid. Something very special and unique. The first man of your kind in the history of time.
Still gives me no right to Una.
Why not? She is the same as you.
What?
When I said you were the first man of your kind, I didn't mean the first creation. The first was a woman. Una.
Una is like me?
Una is like herself. Or, if you wish, like my wife. My real wife. My first and only one. I put into Una all the things I recalled about my wife. Sweetness, laughter, some tears, kindness, and the beauty inside that only makes the outer look more exquisitely lovely. And then I brought it to life. But I made one terrible mistake.
What mistake?
When she came to life, she was so full of the joy of it, the sheer delight in being, that I was awestruck. I didn't have the heart to tell her
that she was just a machine.
Yes.
But you'll have to tell her sooner or later.
I know. But I'm a coward. One part of me that I didn't build into you, Mac. I keep waiting for the right time, but... What's that?
Front door, sir.
I meant, who would ring like that except... It's General Varden. We mustn't let Una open the door.
General Varden.
How nice of you to greet me. Come, my love. You're leaving with me.
Let her go, Varden.
Stop right where you are. I'm armed.
Don't shoot him, please.
Don't, Mac.
It's all right. He can't hurt me.
I hit you point blank with the disintegrating ray.
Let go of Una.
Stay back. If you move one step closer, I promise you I'll turn the ray on her.
Give me the gun.
If I can't have her, no one shall.
Una!
I won't bother with the rest of you. Zorak is on the way here to blow you all to bits. I'll let him take care of you while I make my escape.
You won't get away from me.
Mac, stay where you are.
No, what have you done? I can't move. He'll get away.
Let him.
But he killed Una.
Don't be silly. He couldn't hurt her any more than he could you. You're not hurt, are you, Una?
Oh, no. When he fired, I was so afraid. I blacked out for a moment.
It's all right, Una. There's no need to be afraid anymore. He's gone.
And I'm alive. He fired at me point blank. I felt the shock, but I'm alive.
He also fired at Mac, and it had no effect on him.
But Mac is a humanoid. Then that means that I'm a humanoid, too.
Yes, child. Forgive me. I haven't had the heart to tell you the truth.
The heart? Oh, Ralph, you couldn't have told me anything more wonderful. Because now there's nothing between us. I can give my heart to Mac the way I did when I first saw him.
Una, my darling. Why did you stop me and let him get away?
I don't think he will. Listen. Zorak has caught him.
General Varden has opened fire. That means that Zorak will know he's been betrayed. If he defeats the general, then he'll bomb us all to dust.
I don't care as long as we're together, Mac.
You don't have to care. He can't harm either of you. Oh.
Doctor.
What is it?
The curse of this planet. Finally taking him. Come on, Una. Help me get him to bed.
What's happening? What's happening?
It's Zorak, sir. He destroyed General Varden, and now he's wiping the rest of us out.
Not you and Una.
We don't care. We're together.
Of course you care. This fortress I built in the side of the mountain will stand, except for a lucky hit.
But the radiation afterwards
will not affect either of you. You will still live when all else is dead, including me.
No.
My days were numbered anyway. I wanted children, always. You were the best I could offer against fate. You must fight to exist.
Oh, isn't that futile, Doctor? The two of us alone. One thing you couldn't give us is the ability to reproduce.
Of course I could. Stored in your memory banks is all I have learned. And what I learned is from the accumulated wisdom of man since he first started to reason. Deep in the mountains are stores of parts and transistors, and all you need to build in the image of yourselves. Your children, who in turn will build their images to become their children, until at last the earth will be inherited again. Every new world that ever began sprang from despair, and those who refused to stop hoping. Make this your new world.
Oh, Ralph.
Ashuna, his life here was over. Listen.
What?
Listen. They've stopped bombing. The destruction's over. It's time to start building again.
Is there a moral in this story? Ask yourself. The amoeba reproduces by separation, a flower by cross-pollination, sponges and spores in their own spontaneous fashion. The animal kingdom is not the only one, and holds no royal prerogative. Who is to say that tomorrow, what we think of as a machine may not capture the future?
When an orange says Sunkissed on the outside, you know it's juicy and sweet on the inside.
Hey, Sunkissed sweet, it'll knock you off your feet. It's so fresh and juicy, plump and heavenly. Hey, Sunkissed sweet.
Sink your teeth into a big, bursting, sweet, succulent, scintillating, juicy, vibrant, luscious, lip-smacking, mouth-watering, tongue-tickling, sun-kissed orange.
Hey, Sunkissed sweet.
Minutes seem like hours when you sometimes have trouble getting to sleep. Wouldn't you like to get to sleep fast? Announcing new Unisom. A different generation sleep aid. The only one with doxylamine. To our knowledge, Unisom is the only non-prescription sleep aid proven effective in clinical tests. When you sleep better, you feel better. For occasional sleeplessness, take new Unisom. Use only as directed.
CBS, we're gonna make your day.
CBS Television is gonna make your day. As one of America's most popular daytime dramas, The Young and the Restless now becomes twice as special as it expands to 1 hour. Treat yourself to television's hottest dramatic show, The Young and the Restless, now a full hour every afternoon on CBS Television. Check your local listing for the right time.
CBS, we're gonna make your day.
I'm Susan Anton.
It's a good feeling to sleep the night away on a perfect sleeper by Fiddle.
Pillow Soft is the ultimate in sleep. Unique extra thick cushioning for heavenly comfort on top. Ultra firm support inside. Perfect sleeper Pillow Soft. Firmness that feels good.
Be a perfect sleeper. Buy a perfect sleeper. Perfect sleeper by Fiddle.
It was the English poet laureate Alfred Tennyson who said, "For I dipped into the future, far as human eye could see, saw the vision of the world, and all the wonder it could be." Perhaps we have dipped even deeper than Lord Tennyson to glimpse a reflection of the universe. Could it be that man himself is not the total answer? Our cast included John Beale, Terry Keane, Gordon Heath, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
Well, my dear, I think tomorrow looks interesting, to say the least. I don't know about you. Of course, days and times and years are not the only thing that are new. And sometimes what is old becomes new again. I find that saying to be quite prudent in my day-to-day life. How about you? Well, that's fair. That's fair. This next one I've dusted off just for you to enjoy is all about a woman named Mrs. Devlin who has become very new to her.
And now stay tuned for the mystery program that is unique among all mystery programs, because even when you know who's guilty, you always receive a startling surprise at the final curtain. In the Signal Oil program, The Whistler.
S-I-G-N-A-L Signal. Signal gasoline.
Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by The Whistler. For extra driving pleasure, the signal to look for is the yellow and black circle sign that identifies Signal service stations from Canada to Mexico. And for Sunday evening listening pleasure, the signal to listen for is this whistle that identifies the Signal Oil program, The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now the Whistler's strange story, The New Mrs. Devlin.
Darkness had fallen over the Monterey coast as Kenneth Devlin turned the convertible off the highway, swung the car around in a half arc, and then backed it into the dense shadows, and turned off the motor. As he sat there in the darkness waiting, his eyes never left the rambling two-story house. In the distance he could hear the pounding of the surf, and then suddenly close by another sound, the ringing of a telephone. Yes, Kenneth, your plan is working. You lean forward, see a figure move past the lighted kitchen window. Then another light winks on, and you step out of the car and run toward the house. You pause at the back door for a moment, and then quietly slip inside.
All right, Miss Laurel, but you'd better get a pencil and write this down. You have one? Fine.
You stop
Remember
at the foot
now,
of the
this
stairs,
is a
don't
recipe
you,
for
Kenneth?
6, Miss Laurel.
Listen to your
That's
housekeeper,
right.
Frida, as she talks
What?
on the telephone.
Yes.
Then you
Yes,
hurry
fine.
upstairs to your
Now,
wife's room.
if you're ready.
Push the door open slowly. The room is dark and very quiet. There on the bed is your wife, Emily, her back turned. You approach the bedside table. Uncork a small, flat bottle. Pour half the contents into the glass of milk on the stand beside her bed. And then as you move away, your hand accidentally brushes against the music box. Quickly, you snap down the lid. Hold your breath for fear of waking her. Stand there for a full minute, not daring to move. Then you turn quietly and hurry out of the room and down the stairs.
Now you simmer the scallops 5 minutes in a mixture of wine, salt, and cayenne. Am I going too fast for you, Miss Laurel? All right. Then you drain, reserving the liquid. That's right. Cook the onion in the butter until tender. Blend in the flour. Add the liquid drained from the scallops and cook.
It's done, isn't it, Ken? No one even knew you were there. You've poisoned your wife, Emily, haven't you? And soon you'll be free to marry the beautiful Laurel.
All right, Laurel, get in.
Ken, did everything go all right?
Yeah, sure. Come on, let's go. Hey, your phone call was perfect, honey. Had all the time in the world.
Ken, are you sure everything went all right?
Of course. Why?
Frida left the phone for a moment.
She what?
I couldn't help it. She said there was something on the stove.
How long was she gone?
Not more than a minute or so.
Well, I'm certain she didn't see me. If she had, I think she would have spoken. Now, we better separate.
All right, darling.
I'll drive you up to the highway and you can take a bus home. I'll get in touch with you later. And don't worry, Laurel. I'm sure we're in the clear.
You drive around alone for a couple of hours. It's almost 10 o'clock when you return to the house. As you step inside the front door and close it, you remove your overcoat.
Mr. Devlin?
You turn at the sound of your housekeeper's voice. She's standing at the head of the stairs looking down at you. And you notice a strange look in her eyes. Then slowly she walks down the stairs toward you.
Sorry I'm late, Frida. I couldn't help it. I suppose dinner's completely ruined.
Mr. Devlin, I've been trying to reach you.
Oh, well, Well, what's the matter, Frida? You're as white as a sheet.
Oh, Mr. Devlin, I didn't know what to do. It was such a long time before the doctor came, and...
Dr. Ferris?
You'd better go upstairs, sir.
Upstairs? What? Frida, what's happened?
It's your wife, Mr. Devlin. She's dead.
Dead? No. What was wrong? What did Dr. Ferris say?
He wasn't greatly surprised. Oh, her heart, you know. She'd been sick for such a long time, poor dear.
Yes. Poor Emily.
I suppose it was all for the best, Mr. Devlin.
Huh?
Oh, you understand what I mean.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, you're quite right, Frida. I'm sure it was all for the best.
Tonight's $20 Signal gasoline book goes to Carl A. Truitt of San Francisco for this limerick. Said the man in the moon with a sigh, if only some signal they'd try, they'd go farther by miles through these misty defiles and catch that ghost herd in the sky.
Signal, signal, signal gasoline. Your car will go far with no further gasoline.
Well, even though catching that ghost herd in the sky isn't one of your ambitions, I'm sure you'll find plenty of use for the good mileage that has made Signal famous as the Go Farther gasoline. And at the same time, you'll enjoy the other benefits that naturally go hand in hand with mileage. I'm talking about Signal's fast, cold weather starting, Signal's proud pickup, Signal's smooth, effortless power. So whether you're looking for economy or just real driving pleasure, remember you'll find both in Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline.
It's over, isn't it, Kenneth? Your wife, Emily, is dead. And you're sure no one suspects you poisoned her. Not even Frida, your housekeeper. Dr. Ferris stated it was her weak heart. The cremation service for Emily makes it certain now that no one will ever find out how she died. And you're in the clear. Weeks and then months pass. And finally, in the fall, you marry Laurel. Bring her back to the house overlooking Monterey Bay. Now life is amusing, pleasantly exciting, isn't it, Kenneth? Yes. Laurel, Emily's wealth, the prizes you gambled for are yours at last. then you're immensely pleased with the way things have turned out. That is, for a while you are. And then gradually you begin to notice a change in Laurel, and it bothers you. There's something on her mind, isn't there, Kenneth? One night as you return from the office.
Good evening, Mr. Devlin.
Hello, Frida. Here, take these things, will you?
You've been shopping again, sir.
Indeed I have. Indeed I have.
I put these things in the living room, sir. Dinner'll be ready in half an hour.
Oh, dinner? Well, didn't Mrs. Devlin tell you we were going out tonight?
She changed her mind, sir.
Changed her mind, but... Where is she?
In the library.
All right. Laurel?
Oh, hello, Ken. Have a drink?
Oh, thanks, no. What about the party tonight, honey? I thought you'd be all ready to go.
I'm not going, Ken.
You're not? But we can't. Why, Pete and George are my best friends.
It's their wives. Whisper, 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 always whispering in corners.
Oh, now, look, honey, what would they be whispering about?
Can't you guess? Can't you guess, Ken?
That was the beginning, wasn't it, Kenneth? The first indication of trouble ahead. She's afraid people will find out you poisoned your first wife, Emily. You find yourself becoming jittery, irritable. And there are unpleasant scenes that end only in driving you further apart. Then another evening in the library as you sit reading the newspaper.
Ken,
Yes?
let's move away from here.
Move? What on earth for?
I just want to get away, that's all. This house.
Why? What's wrong with the house? I thought you liked
It's just that, well, being alone here all day.
Alone? Frida's here, isn't she?
Yes, Frida's here.
What in the world?
It's Frida, the house, everything in it reminds me of Emily.
Oh, now, Laura.
I can't help it. People are talking about us. They suspect us.
Nonsense. It's just your imagination is working overtime. They don't know a thing, and they never will. As long as you keep your head.
But Ken...
You've got to take hold of yourself, Laura. Nothing to worry about. Now forget about it. Please.
All right. But about Frida.
What about it?
She's got to go. I just don't want her in this house. She watches everything I do, listens to my phone conversations.
That's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. She suspects us, Ken. Please, you've got to dismiss her.
No, Laurel. Frida's staying. And that's final.
I see. You feel sorry for her, don't you?
Sorry?
She's in love with you, of course. You know that.
In love with me? Oh, don't be silly.
I noticed it a long time ago, the way she looks at you. Even before Emily died, she was in love with you.
Laurel, I tell you...
The way she follows you around, always doing things for you. Oh, it's all very clear, Ken. Tell me, are you in love with her?
You're a fool, Laurel. Suspicious, frightened little fool. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Well, good morning, Ken.
Oh, George, how are you?
Fine. Yeah, great morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
On your way to the office?
Yeah, I thought I'd walk it for a change.
Say, how come we don't see you folks anymore? Getting antisocial or something?
Oh, no. Well, Laurel's not been feeling too well lately, and I've been pretty busy.
Sure. Just kidding. Laurel going on a trip?
Trip?
Yeah, I saw her about 10 minutes ago heading to the bus station.
Laurel?
Yeah, carrying a suitcase.
Oh, yeah. She's going to visit a girlfriend of hers. Well, I thought she was going to drive the car up. I guess she changed her mind.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get together some night, huh? Play a little poker with the boys? I'll phone Pete.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. Excuse me, George. Excuse me. I'll have to go back to the house. I forgot something.
Yeah, okay. See ya.
Okay, folks. Bus for San Francisco's ready to load. Have your tickets ready, please. Come on, folks. This is the bus for San Francisco.
Going someplace, Laurel?
Ken.
Better give me that suitcase.
Ken, I left a note for you. I thought I'd just spend a few days in San Francisco, shopping, get things off my mind, you know.
Suitcase, Laurel.
All right. Here.
You were running away, weren't you?
No, No, I wasn't. Ken,
Come on. We're going back home.
please, Ken.
Frightened people do stupid things, make mistakes. And I can't have that, Laurel.
Just a few days, Ken. I'll come back.
No, I don't trust you. I don't trust you anymore.
Marriage to Laurel was a mistake, wasn't it, Kenneth? You realize that now. She's no longer the clever, even-tempered woman you dared so much for. She's losing her nerve, a coward, a weakling, and she can be dangerous. Frida has already told you that Laurel attempted suicide on 2 different occasions, and you decide you'll have to watch her closely from now on. In the days that follow, you spend more and more time working at home. But late one afternoon, some unexpected business takes you down to your office in the village. And then it happens.
Yes?
Your house calling, sir.
Oh, very well. Hello?
Mr. Devlin, this is Frida. Can you come home right away?
What's wrong, Frida?
Mrs. Devlin, sir, she's ill.
You'll just rest quietly, Mrs. Devlin, and take that medicine every half hour. See that she does, huh, Frida?
I will, Doctor.
That's why I shall look in again this evening. Goodbye. Oh, Ken.
How is she, Doctor?
Oh, nothing to worry about. She'll be all right. Just nervous, upset stomach, but I'd watch her for a while. Frida told me she's attempted suicide once or twice.
Yes, I know. She told me, too. I'll watch her, Doctor. Very closely.
This gives you an idea, doesn't it, Ken? Suddenly you realize that if Laurel succeeded in an attempt at suicide, your worries would all be over. It's something to think about, isn't it? Laurel has become a serious threat. She might do anything, even go to the sheriff. The thought stays with you for the next few days, and then one evening it's Frida who helps you decide.
I've been thinking, Mr. Devlin, I'd like to run up to Santa Cruz tomorrow. My sister's been asking me to visit with her.
Well, why not, Frida? Yes, go ahead.
Well, if you were going to be busy at the office tomorrow, I wouldn't want to leave Mrs. Devlin alone.
You worry too much, Frida. I'll keep an eye on her.
It's an opportunity, isn't it? And you don't hesitate to take advantage of it. Laurel will be alone in the house. It's got to be done, you tell yourself. And it might just as well happen tomorrow. Later that night in the attic room, you open an old trunk. Take out a small flat bottle, the same poison you used for your first wife, Emily. As you stand there staring at it...
Oh, Mr. Devlin, I didn't know you were here.
What is it, Frida?
Well, I just came up to get some things I'd stored away, some presents for my nephew, but I won't disturb you if you're...
Oh, it's quite all right. I was just leaving.
Oh, Mr. Devlin.
Yes?
About breakfast in the morning, I'd planned to catch the 8 o'clock bus.
Now, don't worry about us. I'll manage. You run along.
The following morning, as you see Frida leave the house, you hurry down to the kitchen, find the small cream pitcher in the refrigerator. You pour the rest of the poison into the cream, replace the pitcher on the refrigerator shelf, and an hour later, you're walking into your office.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Devlin. I wasn't sure you'd be coming in today.
Oh, morning, Miss Grant.
Mr. Simmons called a few minutes ago. Wanted to remind you about looking at that Faraday land.
Oh, yes, I forgot to call him. I'll do it right away.
After you phone Mr. Simmons, put in several other calls. You make a pretense of being quite busy, but your eyes keep wandering to the clock. 9:30. Laurel's waking up now. o'clock. Soon she'll leave her room, move down to the kitchen. Breakfast. The same breakfast she always eats. Coffee and cereal. With cream. $11. And now you reach for the telephone.
Yes, Mr. Devlin?
Will you call my home, please?
Yes, sir.
You've waited an hour and a half, haven't you, Ken? 90 long minutes. More than enough time for Laurel to dress and eat breakfast. The poison should take effect immediately. You get up from your desk, pace the office. It had to be done. There was no other way, was there, Ken? Coldly, simply. First, Emily, because you wanted her money. Now, Laurel, because she threatened your security. And everything is once again in your favor. Frida has told the doctor that Laurel had tried suicide before. This time she will succeed, won't she, Ken? While you are absent from the house.
Yes?
I'm sorry, Mr. Devlin. I've called your home, but there's no answer.
No answer? Oh, thank you.
It's done, isn't it, Ken? You're certain Laurel is dead. You put away the papers you've been toying with, say a few words to your secretary, and hurry down the street to your car. As you slide in behind the wheel and reach for the ignition switch, your hand freezes in midair. The woman crossing the street. There's no mistaking the plaid sport coat, is there, Ken? It's Laurel. She's not dead. You watch her hurry along the other side of the street. Turn into the sheriff's office. Yes, the sheriff's office, Ken.
Hiya, Ken.
Hi. Oh, George.
Jumpy, ain't you? Hey, what's the matter? Ken, you look like you've seen a ghost.
Excuse me, I'm in a hurry.
Hey, what ghost? Ken, what's the matter?
Laurel is going to tell the sheriff everything, isn't she, Ken? You're certain of that. And your only thought now is to get away. Back at the house, you hurry to the wall safe, take out all the cash and put it in your pocket. You were smart to keep a few thousand at home, weren't you, Ken? Now, there's still a chance for you, isn't there? But you'll have to move fast. And then as you open the front door...
Mr. Devlin,
Frida.
I didn't go to my sister's after all.
Oh. Why not?
I had no intention of going, really.
What?
Is she dead? Laurel, I mean.
What are you talking about?
You mean you didn't take advantage of my absence, Mr. Devlin? Dear me. I was certain you'd see to it that Laurel wouldn't fail in her next suicide attempt.
Frida.
Don't look so surprised. I've been expecting it. The way things were between you. Roaring about Emily and how she died.
You know about that, too?
Of course.
Why didn't you go to the sheriff? Tell him.
Tell him what? Emily died from her illness. Her heart just stopped, that's all. Nothing else.
What?
I saw you that night, Mr. Devlin, when I was talking on the telephone. I followed you upstairs, saw you drop the poison in the milk. Too bad you didn't know she was already dead.
Already dead?
Yes, she never got to touch the glass of milk.
Why, Frida? Why didn't you tell me this before?
I would have in time, I suppose. You see, when Emily died, I thought perhaps you'd notice me, that there'd be a new Mrs. Devlin.
You mean... you?
Yes, but you married Laurel. That took me by surprise, and I only wanted to hurt you and Laurel, to make you suffer, and she has suffered.
Yes, she has. She must have if she tried suicide.
Oh, no, she never tried to kill herself.
But the doctor said... Well, you told me,
I
too.
planned it that way because I thought it would help you if it were established in advance that she had suicidal tendencies, in case you decided you'd be better off without her.
Oh, you don't know what you've done, Frida. You've ruined things. Laurel's at the sheriff's office right now telling him I poisoned Emily. I'm sure of it.
Well, that's all right. I can tell him differently.
Will you?
On one condition.
What's that?
I love this house. I want it to be mine. Ours, Kenneth.
I see.
I want to be the next Mrs. Devlin.
Laurel?
She doesn't love you, and you don't love her. She'll make your life miserable. You could send her away, divorce her.
And if I do?
I'll tell the sheriff the truth, and you'll be free. Well, if the sheriff's coming, you better make up your mind, Kenneth. Soon.
When you need a new automobile battery, you usually need it quick. You haven't time to shop around and compare prices and features. For that reason, it may pay you both in savings and satisfaction to know about the new Signal Deluxe battery that you can get on easy credit terms at any Signal service station. You actually get up to 35% more power from Signal's new Deluxe batteries because their improved design microporous all-rubber separators hold twice as much acid solution between the plates. And when it comes to trouble-free service, these new Signal Deluxe batteries last so long that Signal dealers guarantee them a full 30 months on a service basis. That makes the cost per month amazingly low. And the generous trade-in allowance Signal dealers are now giving for old batteries makes the cost even lower. So why wait until your old battery lets you down completely? Stop at a Signal station now. Find out how little it will cost you to enjoy quicker starting and freedom from battery worries with an extra powerful, extra long life Signal Deluxe battery.
So you have a decision to make, Ken. You can reject Frida's demand and face a murder charge, or you can accept and be cleared of a crime you planned but really didn't commit. You move out to the patio alone to think, but your mind is already made up, isn't it? Yes, Frida's testimony will ensure your freedom, make certain you'll never again have to worry about Emily's death, and you'll return the favor by making Frida the next Mrs. Devlin. The minutes pass, and you wait for the sheriff to arrive. Finally, his car pulls into the driveway, and he steps out. Leaving Laurel in the car with the deputy, he starts up the path toward the house. As he does, you hurry back inside and meet him at the front door.
Mr. Devlin?
Yes?
Your wife just told us a very interesting story. She's confessed that the two of you poisoned the first Mrs. Devlin.
No, Sheriff, she's wrong. We didn't kill her. Emily died of a heart attack. She never drank the poison.
That's so?
Yes, and I can prove it. Frida, my housekeeper, she'll tell you. Come along, Sheriff.
All right.
Frida? Frida? Oh, this way, Sheriff. She's probably in here. Frida, are you...
Frida is slumped over the kitchen table. Close at hand is a coffee cup and a pitcher of cream, empty. The poison cream you meant for Laurel.
Frida? Frida!
Just a minute, Devlin.
Sheriff,
She's dead.
She could have told you the truth. I didn't poison Emily. I didn't.
I guess that's something we'll never know for sure. But it won't be hard to find out how your housekeeper died. Will it, Devlin?
Please allow me to top off your tea there. It seems it's a bit tepid. Oh, no. That won't do, not on a cold December night like this. These stone walls are very thick. They keep the cold, like they keep so many other things inside. They hold the warmth as well, but the cold is just so persistent. It always seems to win in the end against a humble fire. But all that to be said, not everything is as it seems. Not everything is so simple as your observations and your memory. Some days you wake up and find a strange new world.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Cogan, and starring two of radio's foremost actors, Clifford Carpenter and Lawson Zerbe, in Strange New World.
This is the mysterious traveler inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as we follow two young flyers on a routine flight which suddenly deviated from normal and brought them to a strange new world. Our story begins aboard His Majesty's ship, the submarine Valiant, somewheres in the vast Pacific. Captain Farnsworth, commander of the Valiant, makes his way along the narrow passageway of the submarine to the sick bay and steps into the small cabin.
No, Pete, no. You're wrong. Wing flaps are down. What? We're going to hit Pete. What?
How is he, Higgins? He's not too good, sir. Lord knows how many days he was adrift on that life raft.
Did you find any identification on him?
Oh, yes, sir. His dog tags. Here they are, sir.
Thank you. Daniel Walker, Lieutenant of the United States Air Force.
Of course, I knew from his lingo, sir, he was an American.
That's quite so, quite so. Well, Higgins, you'll have to do what you can for him until we reach a ship with the doctor.
Ah, yes, sir.
Pete? Where am I?
I think he's coming out of it, Captain.
Yes.
Who are you?
Lie quietly, Lieutenant. I'm Captain Farnsworth, His Majesty's Navy. You're aboard the submarine Valiant. We picked you up an hour ago.
Pete. The island.
I take it you were forced down while flying, Lieutenant. What happened?
Happened?
Yes.
Pete, Mendez, and myself were flying a C-47 from Honolulu to Japan. There were only the two of us. Pete was the pilot. I was holding down co-pilot. We were attached to air transport and had aboard a cargo of medical supplies. We were 6 hours out of Honolulu, and I'd taken over the controls. Pete was relaxing in his seat, chewing on a chocolate bar.
Hey, where's the newspaper we picked up in Honolulu, Junior?
Right behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's the good news?
They exploded another atomic bomb at Los Alamos.
Oh, yeah? Anything else of interest?
Bad enough.
Hey, what are you doing? I haven't seen that paper yet.
I'm sorry.
What are you getting so worked up about? What's one atomic explosion, more or less?
Oh, you're just a kid, wet behind the ears.
Okay, Pop, relax.
I was there when the first one was used.
Where?
Hiroshima.
Oh. I didn't know that.
There's a lot you don't know, Junior.
Yeah, well, give me a chance, will you? You weren't on the plane that actually dropped it, were you?
No, I was piloting one of the escorts.
It must have been quite a sight.
Yeah. I hope I never live to see another one.
Yeah.
Hey, look at those clouds ahead. We may be in for a rough trip, Junior. Better let me take over.
Pete, look at our rate of speed. 125 miles an hour.
Yeah. This typhoon we're bucking must be hitting peaks of 150 an hour. We're right in the center of it.
Wide open?
Wide open.
How about turning back?
I can. We're an hour past point of return.
We've been taking this beating for hours. When's it going to let up?
That's hard to say. It's the worst typhoon I've ever seen.
Look at the compass, completely haywire. Any idea where we are?
No, not anymore.
How long do you think we can take this?
What I'm worried about is the gas. We're running low.
Yeah, how much we got left?
2 hours. 2.5 at the most.
Well, that means we're going to have to sit down and drink.
Yeah. Our one hope is that this lets up and we find a ship to sit down there. You better prepare a life raft. Stock it with plenty of water and rations.
Okay. I'll take care of it right away.
Well, looks as though we've come through it. Yeah. Well, that was one to tell your grandchildren about. There go the engines. Okay, Junior. Get back to the raft. Be ready to launch it when we hit.
All right, Pete. Put it down nice and easy.
Those are my intentions, Junior.
What's the altitude?
1,600. 14.
Water rock?
Oh, not too bad. 800. 600. 4. Wing flaps are down. Get ready with the hatch, Junior.
Right.
We're down to 100. Hang on. You okay, Dad?
Yeah. Now, but you're still ain't fast. Here, give me a hand with the raft.
Right. There sure is a lot of water out there. Climb in, will you?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Good. Okay, let's shove off. So far, so good. We shoved off into a sea that was running plenty high. In a few minutes, the waves carried us off, and the sinking plane was lost to sight. Pete rigged up a distress flag so we could be more easily spotted, and then we settled back to wait. For 2 nights and 1 day, we drifted in a fast-running sea with a heavy overcast. There wasn't a sign of a plane or ship. By the dawn of the second day, the overcast lifted and the sea became calmer. It was around noontime that Pete spotted the island. We rigged up a small sail and began paddling for it.
You recognize the island, Pete? Have you any idea which one it is?
No. Your guess is as good as mine. Looks fairly big.
Yeah.
Hey, look. The channel through the reef and into the lagoon is directly ahead. The tide is helping to carry us in.
Good. Sure we want to end up on those reefs. Brother, we're really moving.
Yeah, another minute or two and we'll hit the beach.
Think there might be some natives on the island?
There should be. Certainly looks big enough.
I don't see any huts or anything.
No. Hold on, we're going to hit the beach. Yeah. Well, that does it. Hop out and give me a hand. Let's drag it out of the water.
Yep.
Right. Oh, it sure feels good to be able to walk.
Yeah. All right, pull.
Okay. That's it. A little more. Okay. There. Oh.
Hey, look at those coconuts.
Yeah. Let's begin looking the island over, Junior. See if we can find any natives. Pete took some food and a canteen of water from the raft, and we started walking along the beach, now and then cutting inland to look for water. It took us 6 hours to walk around the island, and the sun was just setting as we got back to the life raft. Sit down, Junior. Take a load off your feet. I don't mind if I do. Cigarette?
Yeah, thanks.
Well, we found fresh water, signs that natives had once lived here, but they sure aren't here anymore. No. That's strange, considering the island is 3 miles wide, almost 2 miles long. I've seen natives living on islands 1/2 the size.
Wonder why they left.
Got any ideas?
No?
Well, it's just you and me. Sit tight and lead the right Riley. So we're picked up.
Yeah. And the first thing we'll do in the morning is run up a distress signal on one of the palm trees. We'll also get brush together for a fire.
Check. What do you say we have supper and turn in? It's been a long day.
Okay, Junior. Sounds like a good idea.
Pete, wake up.
Huh? What? Oh, what time is it?
2 a.m.
2 a.m.? What are you waking me for? Go to sleep.
Pete, I heard something moving around in the brush inland.
Oh, probably wild pigs. Island's full of them. Go to sleep.
It made too much noise for a pig.
Holy smoke, Junior. It certainly wasn't an elephant.
Well, maybe not, but... Do you hear that?
Yeah. I heard.
Does that sound like a pig in the brush?
Ah, maybe there's a herd of them.
Who's kidding who?
Okay, wait till I get my 45. All right, come on. Let's have a look. And step lightly.
Sounds as if it's over that way.
Yeah. And listen to that. It almost does sound like an elephant.
Look, the moon's coming out behind those clouds. That's a break.
Yeah, and we're getting closer. We better take it easy.
The sound of it, that 45 of yours isn't going to do much good.
Well, I got the feeling I'm dreaming all this. I've been on dozens of tropical islands like this one. Biggest thing you'll find on any of them are wild pigs.
That's no wild pig, brother.
Yeah. That's why this seems like a dream. What in the devil could it be?
You see anything yet?
No. Look out for those palm leaves. They're sharp.
Yeah, okay.
Listen to that. Good Lord. Look.
It was like a nightmare. A nightmare you can't escape from, try as you will. There, 50 yards away in a clearing in the underbrush, was a monster. A monster that baffled the eye and brain for a moment, then began to come into focus and take shape. What I saw before me was a water crab, only 100 times larger than the crabs that scurried along the beach. The monster crab in the clearing stood fully 20 feet high, with legs the thickness of palm tree trunks. The antenna on its frightening head was yards long, and its eyes were unbearably evil, even from a distance. Its 12 legs carried it slowly but lightly through the underbrush.
Don't move, Dan. We don't want to attract its attention.
Pete, what is it?
I don't know. It's a crab of some sort. Only 100 times larger than any I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, the size of it. It must be at least 18 feet high. And those claws.
You could park a car under its belly.
I can't believe it.
It's moving off.
Yeah.
Do you think there may be others like it around?
I don't know. I hope not.
Look, it's moving toward the beach.
Yeah, I see it. Yet I still can't believe it.
Maybe it's an hallucination.
Both of us having the same hallucination, hardly.
Well, how do you account for it?
I can't.
It's on the beach going into the water.
Ah. There it goes.
God.
Look. We better stay here, Junior. And just sit tight for the rest of the night.
Oh, it's good to see daylight again.
Yeah.
Let's take a walk over to that clearing in the underbrush. Where we saw it, huh?
Okay.
And what do you think about it?
I don't know. Well, maybe what we saw was just a fluke of nature. It's possible.
Yes, possible.
Yeah, what other explanation can there be?
I've got one. But it's so incredible.
Let's have it.
I'll tell you later. I want to think about it some more.
Well, here we are. Here's the clearing.
Yeah. We first saw it by those palm trees over there. Hey, look.
Tracks of the monster. In the sand.
Look how large and deep the tracks are.
Yeah. It was a beautiful morning. Until now.
Come on. Let's follow them.
Okay.
Now, they go through the brush here and towards the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the way we saw it go.
The brush is flattened as though a tank had rolled through here.
There's no problem following it.
Look. Here's where it came out on the beach.
Yeah, and there's the tracks on the sand leading into the water.
It's out there. Somewhere in the waters of the lagoon.
Yeah.
Look. Let's unload the raft and then paddle out into the lagoon.
What for? Holy smokes, don't tell me you're going looking for that monster.
Well, not exactly, but I got a hunch. And I want to check on it.
It's crazy paddling out into that lagoon. How do you know it won't attack once we get out there?
I don't. It's just a chance we'll have to take.
But why?
So that I can find the answer to all this. Are you going with me?
Okay. I'm going with you. Pete, for an hour I've been paddling you across the lagoon. All you've been doing is peering down into the water. What are you trying to spot, the monster?
No.
Well, if it isn't a monster you're looking for, what then?
Stop paddling. I think we found it.
Found what?
Take a look over the side. Into the water.
I don't see a thing.
Oh, the sun's been in your eyes. Keep looking towards the bottom. Till your eyes get used to the water.
Nah, I don't see it. Now, wait a minute. I can hardly make it out, but there seems to be a wreck on the bottom. A big one.
It is a wreck. That's a battleship you see on the bottom.
A battleship?
Yeah, don't you understand? This island. It's Bikini.
Bikini? You mean where they dropped an atomic bomb on those old battleships?
Yeah. A dozen ships on the bottom here. All sunk by atomic bomb tests.
Bikini. Pete, you don't think the island's radioactive, do you?
Well, not enough to do us any harm. It's been years since the test.
You said you had a crazy explanation for that monster we saw last night. Does that tie in with all this?
Yeah.
How?
Now, look, you'll think I'm nuts, but here goes. We dropped a bomb into this lagoon to see what an underwater explosion would do to those warships.
Now, what are you getting at?
We know what the atomic bomb did to the ships. But do we know what effect it had on the fish life here in the lagoon?
Are you saying that the monster crab we saw last night was the result of the bomb dropped into this lagoon?
Well, what other explanation can there be? Remember, Dan, the effect of the bomb on the survivors of Hiroshima left wounds and illnesses that doctors had never seen before. Now, who's to say that the radioactivity in this lagoon couldn't have caused fish life to multiply in size 100-fold?
Can't be. It just can't be.
Well, why not?
Radioactivity causing a crab to grow 1,000 times bigger?
Well, how else can you account for that monster crab we saw last night?
I don't know.
Well, think about it. Meanwhile, let's paddle back to the beach.
The two of us paddled silently across the lagoon to the beach and dragged the raft onto the water. Time and time again, I found myself turning to look out over the waters of the lagoon as Pete's words ran through my mind.
His explanation seemed an impossible one, and yet, what other answer could there be? The two of us sat on the beach smoking, watching the moon come up over the lagoon of Bikini. Sure is a beautiful night. Yeah. Do you think they'll send search planes this way, Pete? Well, sooner or later, they'll find us. As long as we have fresh water and fish, we're okay. Yeah, I guess so. Pete! Look at the water in the lagoon. Holy smoke. Why, it's being churned up as though there were a dozen whales out there. Could it be whales? Not in these waters. Pete! There's something enormous out there threshing around. Well, maybe it'll break through to the surface and we'll be able to see it. Could it be that monster crab we saw last night? Oh, it's something bigger, much bigger. Bigger? Well, that would make whatever it is a couple 100 feet in length. Yeah. The way the water's being churned up, there must be a fight going on out there. Pete, look. They're coming out of the water. The monster crab we saw last night. Another one following it. And still others. Dan, some of them are coming this way. Come on, we got to get out of here. What about our supplies? There's no time to grab them. Get a move on. This way. There were dozens of them coming out of the water. They came out of the lagoon. They were fleeing the fight that was going on out there. Whatever it is, it's in the lagoon. I never want to see it. Well, it must be the size of the destroyer. Where are we running to, Pete? I'm getting bushed. Oh, let's stop for a minute. Get our bearings, huh? Yeah. Do you hear that? Yeah. Those monster crabs. There must be dozens of them. Overrunning the island. Look. The road's getting behind the clouds. No, just our luck. Can't see much now. Those crabs. They're all over the place. Yeah. Pete, we better push on. No. We might run into one in the dark. We're better off staying here. One of them seems to be heading this way. Can you make out from which direction it's coming? No. The moon would come out from behind those clouds. Hey, listen. It's coming closer. What are you doing with that 45? It's better than nothing. Maybe the sound of shots might frighten it off. It's getting closer all the time. But I can't see it. Can you? No. Keep your eyes open. Sounds almost on top of us. Pete! There it is! Look out! No! Pete! Pete! Right near the cloud. As it ran past my chest. Lie quietly. Let me look. Good Lord. The open. Don't move, Pete. I'm going back to the beach for medical supplies. No, don't. No, it's too dangerous. It's no use anyway. No use? I'm dying. No, Pete. Oh, listen to me. You know, first thing in the morning, this raft is still okay. You shove off. Don't stay here. It's too dangerous. Pete, let me go for the medical supply. No. When you're rescued, explain to them. Strange new world. Sea life. Multiplying 100-fold. Radioactivity of atomic bomb in lagoon. Sea life will increase. Overrun 7 seas. Pete.
I sat there beside Pete's body for the rest of the night. Several times I heard monster crabs passing in the brush nearby, but I didn't leave. In the morning, the island was once again peaceful, tranquil. I buried Pete on a high hill and then returned to the beach. The raft was overturned, the supplies gone. I overhauled the raft, gathered coconuts and a supply of water. By noon, I was paddling across the 3-mile lagoon to the channel through the reefs that led to sea. As dusk came, I was several miles out to sea. 2 nights and days slipped by without my seeing a plane or ship. And more days. Soon my water was gone. The days that followed were ones of thirst and torture. The will to live left me, and I lost consciousness. Next thing I remember was feeling hands lift me, finding myself here. Where did you say I am?
His Majesty's ship. Submarine Valiant.
Submarine Valiant?
Yes.
Where'd you pick me up?
50 miles southeast of the island of Bikini.
Bikini? Bikini.
Now you must lie back. Rest. What you need is sleep.
Sleep? Sleep, yeah.
That's it. Close your eyes.
That's it, lad.
He's fallen asleep, sir. Yes. Poor devil. Did you catch his ravings about monsters and all that, sir? Yes. Poor chap is clearly out of his mind. Must be, sir. Yet his ravings gives the one the chills, they do. It's quite so, quite so. Devil, take it. What's happened, sir? Feels as if we've hit a derelict. Carry on, Higgins. Aye, aye, sir.
What was that?
Well, woke you up, did it? Too bad. Well, we may have hit a derelict. It's hard to say. Captain's looking into it. Now, rest easy, lad. Oh, me, what now? They're being tossed about like a ball.
They're dragging us down.
Nonsense, lad. I just lie back and leave everything.
Now hear this. Now hear this. Captain Farnsworth speaking. We're being attacked by some creature of the deep. All crew members to battle stations.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our trip? Oh, what happened to the submarine Valiant? Well, after a 2-hour battle with an unseen enemy, it managed to escape. But at a naval court of inquiry, Captain Farnsworth was at a loss to explain the nature of the enemy his submarine had been in battle with. Well, of course, there was Lieutenant Dan Walker's testimony, but obviously the poor fellow was out of his head. Who ever heard of monster crabs 20 feet high and denizens of the deep as large as a destroyer? The court could reach no verdict in the matter of the submarine Valiant, and there the case rested. Now, if by some chance you should happen to take a voyage across the Pacific, and one night as you stroll on deck, you see a giant... Oh, you have to get off here. I'm sorry. But I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
My dear, you know what one of my favorite elements of this holiday is? This New Year's Eve, this New Year's baby, as it were? I love the idea of celebrating midnight. Many of us don't ever see midnight, at least not often. Of course, you and I are not the average person. Many are tucked away in bed when 12 o'clock strikes. They never see midnight or the witching hour for that matter. Except, perhaps, on New Year's, as they celebrate a time that they would usually avoid. This story is about 3 faces found at that very time.
Yes, Roma wines taste better because only Roma selects from the world's greatest wine reserves for your pleasure. And now, Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, Roma Wines present Suspense.
Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Mr. William Bendix as star of 3 Faces at Midnight, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear.
Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those better-tasting California wines enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. For friendly entertaining, for delightful dining. Yes, right now, a glassful would be very pleasant as Roma Wines bring you William Bendix in a remarkable tale of suspense.
They say they got 58 million jobs in this country. 58 million jobs, and I had to pick this one. Well, that's the way it goes. Some guys that got some special ability that other guys don't have, they just get picked out of the crowd, I guess, in spite of themselves. Well, this day I'm walking along Central Avenue, not paying much attention to anything in particular. Then I see this sign, Help Wanted, it says, jobs. Then it's got a list of different kinds of jobs, like chauffeur, house painter, salesman. There's nothing so funny about that. But then I see what kind of dough they're paying. And, brother, what kind of dough they're paying. I'm thinking maybe this inflation ain't such a bad idea after all. And I walk in. Well, there's quite a bunch of guys in there, naturally, sitting around on benches. And I sit down, and every so often, a door opens, and a tough-looking little gray-haired guy comes out and picks out a guy, and the guy goes in a sort of an office with him. And that's the last we ever see of him. So this keeps happening for a while, and I'm thinking this guy must really be handing out the jobs. And then the door opens again, and the guy is looking at me.
Okay, you.
Me?
Yes, you. All right, sit down. What's your name?
Walters.
First name? What's the matter? Don't you know it?
Muscles.
What?
Muscles.
Now,
M-U...
look, don't try to clown with me, pal. What's your name?
Listen, for your information, my first name is Sylvester. Only I don't like the name Sylvester, so most people don't call me Sylvester. On account of it's better for them that way. So they call me Muscles. Now you catch on?
Here. Live here in town?
No.
Where you from?
Brooklyn.
I should have known it. What's your IQ?
Come again?
Skip it. Got any friends in town?
No, just...
And I can see why.
Look, Pop, are you talking to me about a job or a poke in the nose?
What? You wouldn't try to get tough with me, would you, you big baboon?
What? Is that gun loaded, Pop?
Yeah. Now you want to make something out of it?
No, I don't. And how do you like that? But if you will put that heater down for a minute, Pop, I will bend you around like a pretzel.
You know, I think you're going to be all right, son.
Yeah?
Hold it now. Hold it. Don't get sore. I was just trying something out on you, that's all.
You take awful chances, Pop.
Guns don't worry you much, do they?
Guns? I spent the last 4 years playing with firearms for Uncle Whiskers. Guns to me are like the measles. I don't worry about them. I just got a healthy respect for them, and I like to keep my distance, that's all. Especially when the other guys got them and I don't.
Yeah, I think you're going to be all right.
For what?
Oh, yeah. What kind of a job did you want?
Well, I don't know. I've been a cabbie, drove a truck. I was a salesman for a while.
Oh, who? Lionel Strongfort?
No, ladies' lingerie, mail order house.
Yeah? Well, you'll make a lot more on this job than you would as any salesman. Now, listen. Say this after me.
What?
This is John. 3 Faces for Midnight.
Come again?
Come on. Say it. It's part of the job.
Listen, if this job means I got to play left end for the nut house, it's out.
Don't worry, pal. Don't worry. You're going to like this job. Now, come on. Say it. This is John. 3 Faces for Midnight.
Well, what can I lose? This is John. 3 Faces for Midnight.
Again.
This is John. 3 Faces for Midnight.
Yeah. You're going to be all right.
Well, is that good?
Listen to this.
What's that?
A dictograph. It plays records.
Oh, yeah, well, that's more like it. Hey, you got Crosby...
Listen.
Yeah? This is John. Which way is the road? 3 faces for midnight. Well? We're ready. Tomorrow night, regular time. I'll call.
There. Did you get it?
Well, they sound just like a couple of mugs to me, especially that guy John.
I guess nobody ever does.
Why?
Recognize their own voice when they hear it. That guy John sounds enough like you to be your twin brother.
Oh, I guess a guy can't help what he says. You mean I sound like that?
I mean you're hired.
What a price to pay for a job.
Go on through that door to the back and wait for me. I got a couple of things to do, and then we'll get busy.
Well, okay, but this better be on the level. Because so far, it sure stinks. Pardon me. You all alone in here?
I was.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt or anything, only he sent me in here.
Oh, it's quite all right. Make yourself quite at home.
Well, thanks.
Only I hope you won't mind if I return to the pursuit of my magazine.
Hmm? Oh, you were reading. I like to read myself sometimes.
I'm sure.
You're working for this guy here?
I'm afraid that's confidential.
Ah, so he gave you that, too, huh?
Why, yes. Are you working for him?
Well, I don't know if you could call it working.
Well, didn't he tell you anything?
Yeah. All about how I sounded like a guy named John, and what did I think about guns.
Guns?
Yeah.
Oh.
But what are you supposed to do?
Well, I don't know exactly.
That sounds just as crazy as what I'm supposed to do.
Well, you see, I'm a photographer.
Oh, you take pictures?
Uh-huh. I'm just an amateur, really. But I get some very good pictures. I showed him some. A 16 millimeter.
What's that?
Movies. With this camera here. See?
Oh. Well, if this is some kind of gag for the movies, then it makes sense. They say in that racket everybody's crazy.
Well, I don't know. I figured he wanted me to take some pictures of some kind of an affair. Some wedding or something.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Give the bride away?
Now I wanted to... Oh, you two get acquainted?
Well, we were making a start.
Good. Okay, now look. I got all your instructions written down here. Everything you're supposed to do. You take a train to Woodbridge and walk, not take a cab, walk to a certain house. There's a map here. You can't miss it.
Well, aren't you coming?
Yeah, sure. I'll be there, but I got to go separately. There's a reason for that. So go on, beat it now. Your train leaves in a half an hour. You can read over your instructions on the way.
Okay, I'm playing along as though this was on the level, but it better be.
It's on the level, all right, but listen.
Yeah.
Don't you do anything that's not in those instructions. See?
Why should we?
I'm just telling you. Because I wouldn't want to see anything happen to you. Either of you.
Well, that should have been the tip-off right there. Especially for a smart guy like me. But if you must know, by this time I'm thinking about this dame, who's a slick chick, but real refined, too. You know what I mean. And I'm thinking that this is probably the big break for her, if it is on the level, so I ought to help her through with it. So I do. And by the time we get out to this Woodbridge, we're getting along pretty good. Except for one thing. We start off from the railroad station, like it says on the map the guy gave us, looking for this certain house. Only it gets wilder and wilder where we're going. Right into the woods. Must be a couple of miles. And then all of a sudden, there's a house. Well, that should have been a tip-off, too.
You don't suppose that's it?
According to this map, it's got to be.
But Sylvester.
Helen.
Yes, Sylvester.
If you call me that once more, I will bend...
What did you say?
I said I will bend every effort for you, but please don't call me that.
Oh, well, I just can't call you muscle. It's not refined. Well, then this must be the place. But it certainly is a funny place to have any kind of an affair.
Don't look like it's been lived in for 20 years.
Listen.
Yeah, it's going to be a storm.
Well, we better just go on inside. You know, like it says to do.
That door don't sound like it's ever been opened.
Ooh. Gee, it's spooky in here.
Yeah, I can't find a light.
Maybe that nice Mr... Oh, Sylvester.
What?
I don't even know his name. Do you?
No, and I wish I didn't know him.
Close the door.
Oh!
Shh. It's all right. It's me. That's the idea. Now we can have some light.
Ah. Well, it's nice on the inside, isn't it? Really refined.
Yeah, it used to be an old hideout.
Now, come on to the front room here, and I'll give you the pitch.
Well, don't think we're in any hurry to know, because we are, see?
All right. Now, listen. In about an hour, there's going to be a guy come out here to take a bribe. He's quite a big guy in this town, and he's taken a big bribe. $200,000.
200 grand?
Yeah. He's going to take the money from another guy that he's never seen before. A guy named John. You're going to be John.
Oh. Oh, so I'm going to be John.
That's right. The guy you heard on the record in my office, the guy you sound like. The other guy you heard is the guy that's taken the money.
Yeah? Well, you can count me out. The whole thing
Sylvester.
smells. And if I had known that you were getting a young girl...
Now, wait a minute. There are only two people in the world who know about this. Me and...
Yeah, and who are you?
Just call me Tim. Me and Grover T. Wyatt. You know who he is.
No.
You don't mean Governor Wyatt?
Yes.
Why, he's nice. I voted for him. Why, he's one of the best-looking men. For his age, I mean.
Wyatt's a swell guy, clean as a whistle, for 20 years. But he made one little mistake back there, and a certain guy has caught onto it. Well, all I can say is that if this thing doesn't come off, if he doesn't hear from me by 3 o'clock this afternoon, well, Governor Wyatt's a dead pigeon.
I don't care if he's a dead horse. 200 grand is plenty of lettuce, and that means plenty of trouble. And what about this John that I'm supposed to be?
He knows it, too. He's been our contact man on the phone with the scripter, and
Well, I don't like it. And Helen here.
What are you squawking about? There's nothing going to happen to you, and there's a bonus of $5 apiece in it for both of you.
So, we stick our necks out for a lousy $5.
$500.
That's what I said, a lousy 500... 500?
That's what I said.
Well. Well.
Say, where is this bum that's been giving trouble to the governor? I will bend him around like a pretzel.
We don't need any of that. We're just going to get him good this time, and that's the end of him.
And you want me to take pictures of the, transaction?
Yes, now you're getting smart. Yeah, from that landing up there. That's why we've got so much light in here. Will it be okay?
Oh, it'll be quite all right, I'm sure.
Yeah, but there's just one thing.
What?
So this guy shows up and he thinks I'm John because he's never seen John. But what if John shows up?
Well, now, this John was sort of a double-crosser. He won't show up.
How do you know?
He had a little accident this morning. He's dead.
For suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you William Bendix in Three Faces at Midnight. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Between the acts of Suspense, this is Ken Niles for Roma Wines. Are you enjoying today's biggest value in an entertainment beverage? You are when you serve Roma Wine, because Roma Wine is America's first choice for more pleasure at moderate cost. Yes, Roma's popularity proves that in Roma Wines you enjoy an important difference, an extra goodness in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. And this difference, this better taste of Roma wines, starts with California's choicest grapes. Then Roma master vintners, with America's finest winemaking resources, carefully, unhurriedly guide this grape treasure to tempting taste perfection. This wine is placed with mellow Roma wines of years before. And later, from this world's greatest reserves of fine wines, Roma selects for your pleasure. That's why Roma wines are different. Why Roma wines taste better every time. So for your best buy in good taste, insist on Roma wine. R-O-M-A. Roma, the greatest name in wine.
And now, Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage William Bendix as Sylvester Walters, with Sandra Gould as Helen, his partner in adventure, in Three Faces at Midnight, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
So there we are, just sitting and waiting in a house that looks like something Boris Karloff moved out of because it made him nervous. Me and this guy called Tim that's working for this governor called Wyatt, and this slick chick called Helen that's going to take the pictures. Just sitting and waiting for a guy that's going to come and take a bribe of $200,000 from another guy called John. Only I'm going to be John on account of I sound just like him, and this other guy has never seen him, and anyway, this John has just got himself knocked off. You don't get it? Neither do I. But for $500, who am I to have to know everybody's business? And Helen, she's sitting there as cool as though bribes of $200,000 and dead guys named John was just something she run across at the dime store novelty counter. So we go over what I'm supposed to say to this guy a couple of times, and the storm outside getting worse all the time. And then we hear the knock on the door.
That's him. That's him. Now, all the dough's there in the briefcase. You know what to do. Helen, up on that landing quick.
Okay.
Where are you going to be?
Right in this closet. Now, go to it and make it look good.
Excuse me. Is this Mr. Hampton?
No, this is John.
Oh. I guess I lost my way. Which way is the road?
3 faces for midnight.
Okay. I knew your voice anyway.
Come on in.
You alone?
What do you think?
I'm asking.
$200,000, now you got to answer questions too nuts.
Okay. You got it?
Yeah, in this briefcase. 200 G notes.
I don't like that. What's supposed to be smaller?
What's supposed... Well, that's how you're getting it. You want to count it?
What for? It better be right.
Here, look it over. I don't want no kickbacks.
Okay, $200,000.
Yeah, but you'll never get to spend it.
Oh, a plant, huh?
Yes, with pictures. Do you like it?
Well, that's too bad, Tim. Too bad for you, boy.
Oh, what did you do that for? Drop that gun, drop it!
I got it. Now stand back from the muscles. Stand back.
Tim! No, Tim, no! No, Tim! No!
Thanks. Muscle.
Oh, Sylvester.
Yeah.
Are they...
Dead? Yeah. Both of them.
Oh, Sylvester. What are we going to do?
Well, I got what you might call a rough idea.
What?
Come on. We're going to get this out of here. We have to walk the 2 miles to the station through the pouring rain. But even all that cold water don't seem to make my brains work any better. We don't get back to town till about 4:30, and I still don't have it figured out. And Helen, well, I guess you can't blame her. She just don't seem to have much experience in these things. So we're standing there under an awning arguing.
But, Sylvester, why don't we just go to the police or somebody and tell them?
Look, Sugar, there's 3 guys been knocked off today. We were there when it happened, the 2 of them. And how do we know that guy Tim told us was on the level?
Well, maybe the police would tell us.
Yeah, with a rubber hose. And here's another thing. We're carrying around a briefcase full of $200,000 of somebody else's dough. And that ain't hay, and it ain't good.
Well, my goodness, what's so bad about it? All we have to do is keep it until somebody...
Helen, look. I'm not really a tough guy, see? All I know is what I see in the movies. But I know that when you're walking around with that much hot money, you're apt to wake up someday and find you've been living on borrowed time. Didn't you see what happened to that guy in that movie, The Killers?
Oh, yeah, wasn't that good? That poor Burt Lancaster. I felt so sorry for him.
Well, I don't want to wind up no Burt Lancaster, even to make you feel sorry for me. So the first thing we got to do is ditch this dough.
Ditch? Really?
I mean before they find those 2 stiffs out there and then start trying to find a funny-looking guy and a cute-looking dame with a sack full of dough, we got to find the parties that belong to it before they find us. Now you catch on?
But we can't give it back to the man it belongs to.
Yeah, and he said there was nobody in on the deal but him and the governor.
The governor? Why, that's what we'll do, silly. Just call the governor.
Yeah, how do you do that? Just look him up in the classified ads?
I don't know. Ask information. Somebody must know his number. After all, you know, he's a very important man.
Well, it might be worth a try at that.
Of course it is. There's probably a phone booth right here in the drugstore.
Yeah, but calling the governor just like that, I don't know.
3X3 governor commit suicide.
Paper bud, beat it. I got enough to worry me without the governor. Tell him. The governor. He's dead. Well, of course. Now I remember what that guy said about the governor being a dead pigeon if he didn't get word by 3 o'clock. But it's too late now for that to do anybody much good, us or him either. There was just one more chance, that employment agency. The rain had almost stopped now, and we went over to Central Avenue to look for it.
Of course this is the place. I'd recognize it any time.
Now, where's the sign with the jobs on it?
I don't know. Maybe they take it down when it rains to keep the letters from running.
Yeah, maybe. The joint looks closed to me. It is. Hey, anybody in there? Hey, open up! Come on, open up, open up!
What do you want?
We want to see the boss.
I'm in charge here. What do you want?
Well, we were sort of looking for a couple of jobs.
I don't have no jobs. I'm just trying to rent this place. It's vacant.
Vacant? Isn't this an employment agency?
Not since this morning. You want to rent it?
Look, this is kind of important to us. The guy that had it before, he was a sort of a tough-looking little gray-haired guy, huh?
Yeah, that's a guy by the name of Whiting. George Whiting.
Oh, no, his name was Tim.
Look, lady, if you know so much, what are you asking me for?
Well, it's all right. He probably had 2 names. You wouldn't know his home address, would you?
I don't know a thing about the man, fella. If you got to see him so bad, the only thing I could advise you to do is, stick around on the off chance he might come back.
But he can't. He's dead.
He's wanting to skip it. Well, we got the wrong guy. That last crack didn't help none because I knew that guy would remember us sure. And now I saw the whole thing. That employment racket was just a phony setup to catch a couple of patsies. Us. I headed us back to the choo-choo station. On the way, I slipped a G-note out of the briefcase. It was time to do something fast.
Leave town? Oh, but I don't want to leave town. It's nice
Yeah,
here.
they got nice, comfortable slabs in the morgue, too. Come on, we're going to check this briefcase.
But what are we going to check it for if we're going to leave town? If it's too heavy, Mr. Walters, I'll carry it.
Look, Sugar, for the last time, I hope. 3 guys are dead. The governor of a state almost as important as Brooklyn has just knocked himself off. All on account of what's in this bag. We are ditching this bag, Sugar, and we are lambing. I'll explain what that means later. Check this, will you, Bud?
When do you want it?
Sometime next week. I'm going out of town.
Okay, 2 bits now and 2 bits more for every day you leave it. You pay the rest later.
There you are.
25, 20. Hey, what is this, a gag?
Well, what's the matter now?
$1,000.
Oh, I must have made a mistake.
You sure must have.
Yeah, but I don't seem to have nothing smaller.
Well, I sure ain't gonna change this.
Okay. Give me the bag. Come on, Helen.
Hey, wait! Hey, Jerry, stop that guy! What? Hey, you! Wait a minute.
Now, look, officer, I just...
Come on. The man wants to see you. What's the matter, Sam?
That guy must be nuts. He just walked off and left a $1,000 bill.
Oh, did I say?
A G-note. Let me see it.
Well, it's mine. Ask him.
Where'd you get this, Bud?
Well, why, officer, I just made a little killing at the track.
Which track?
Why, look, I just wanted to check my bag, officer.
What's in that bag?
Nothing, officer. Just some purely personal stuff.
Let me see.
Say, what is...
Give me that bag. Well, what?
What's in it, Jerry?
Why, there's nothing in this bag at all. Nothing at all. Just a little movie camera.
You see, I told you.
And about $1 million. Come on.
Come on, Sylvester. Come clean.
I told you. And please don't call me that.
We ain't started to call you nothing yet, Sylvester. Why'd you kill him?
You killed him for the dough, didn't you?
Where'd you hear about it? How'd you know he had the dough?
This is your gun, isn't it?
No. I told you they knocked off each other. I was just...
Sure, with the same gun. One guy shoots the other one and then hands him the gun, and only the gun's got your prints all over it.
I took it away from the guy.
You were robbing the house, weren't you? They came to make their deal and you knocked them off.
Listen, the governor himself knew.
Sure, we'll get the governor to come right down and make a statement.
You trying to be funny, Sylvester?
You were robbing a house. You swiped the camera and you put it in the bag, and then they came in. You saw all that dough and you knocked them off.
Listen, Sylvester. You don't want to get that sweet little girlfriend of yours in a jam, do you?
Helen, what have you done to her?
Nothing. Yet. Come on, come clean and we'll let her go.
But I tell you,
Come on, Sylvester. Or we'll send her to the hot seat with you.
You wouldn't. You couldn't.
No? That's what you think. You killed him, didn't you? You killed him.
Okay, I killed him. Now you happy?
That's a boy. Sylvester. Hey, get this, Harry.
Now will you stop calling me that?
Okay, Sylvester, you killed him. What was the girl doing there?
She had nothing to do with it. She was just taking the pictures.
What pictures?
The pictures. The pictures! There's your answer, you big dopes. Go look at the pictures.
Oh, he's right, Mac. Those pictures show the whole thing. Pete shot Tim O'Mara, and then this guy got the gun away from him, and O'Mara shot Pete, just like he said.
Yeah. Now you catch on?
You sure?
No argument, Mac. It's all right there on the film.
Well, you're a lucky boy. Sylvester.
Yeah, sure. I get all the breaks.
Now go on. Beat it. Beat it before we think of something else.
Okay, you've had your fun.
Didn't you like it, Sylvester?
But if you'll take off that gun and that badge for a minute, I will bend you around like a pretzel.
You mean right here, Sylvester?
Yeah, right here. After I served my 90 days, I went and got my name changed by a judge from Sylvester to Muscles. It's legal now. Mr. Muscles Walters. It may sound funny to you, but I like it. Oh, yeah. And Helen got her name changed, too. She's Mrs. Muscles Walters.
Suspense. Presented by Roma Wines. R-O-M-A. Roma, America's favorite wines. And now this is Ken Niles returning for a curtain call with the rugged star of tonight's suspense play, William Bendix. Bill, are those bulges in your coat really muscles, or did your tailor install them?
Well, they ain't mothballs, chum. You want to see me tear up a phone book?
You're safe. I don't happen to have one on me.
Oh. Well, I will demonstrate with my script. Only 30 pages. Give me yours, too, Ken. Now, I fold them once, then twice, and... then I stack up the pieces, and... Hey?
Oh, that's fine. There went both scripts. Now what do we read from?
Well, gee, Ken, I never thought. But you don't need a script to tell folks how good Roma wines are, do you?
You're right, Bill. And to start with, here's a gift basket of Roma, California wines with compliments from Roma, the greatest name in wine.
Well, that's what I call a magnanimous gesture. And now let me hear you tell about this Roma sherry without a script.
Certainly, Bill. Roma sherry is the perfect first call for dinner, the ideal wine for entertaining any time. Roma sherry is the favorite of millions because golden amber fragrant Roma sherry is so good, so many tasty ways. You'll enjoy Roma sherry before dinner, Bill, and when guests drop in, delight them with the warmth and graciousness, the tempting nut-like taste of Roma sherry.
This guy knows his wine.
Yes, because I know that in all Roma wines you enjoy an important difference, an extra goodness in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. That's why more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
He done it. Thanks, Ken, and good night.
William Bendix appears through the courtesy of Procter & Gamble, makers of Dreft, and can soon be seen in the Paramount picture Blaze of Noon. Tonight's suspense play was written by John Eugene Hasty and Robert Richards.
All right, a little record to lighten the mood. Oh, what's that? Well, I may not have plans I'm aware of for the night itself, but I can tell you I'll be right here, waiting, the next time you decide to visit. And how I have enjoyed these holidays, these excuses to spend more time together, to spend more time celebrating, to spend more time with your fears, as well as mine. Believe it or not, I have some of my very own. But now, my dear, as we wrap up this calendar year of fun and games, I just want to remind you that as you make your way home, avoid the drunk drivers, avoid the people who've over-imbibed their champagne and merriment. And as you lay your head on that little down pillow, in that warm bedroom, in that beautiful home, in that quaint little town you call a home, please, as your breathing becomes rhythmic, be thankful for what you have.